on the optimistic side. He finally has his players in place, at least most of them.
Well, you know, Coach Shula has been going since July. This is really the first week where he's got what he believes the Miami Dolphin team of 1991 to work with. He's got 4 starters in. Only 2 of them are going to play this week. On the other side of the coin, Coach Ron Meyer is still trying to work with both lines. Offensive line, he acquired Bubba Paris, Irv Pankey, who won't play today. But worst of all, on the defensive line, the 2 nose tackles, Tony Saragusa and Travis Davis, aren't going to play. They're going to have to go with a guy that wasn't even on the team last week, Frank Giannetti, who they signed from their developmental squad, and he's going to start at nose tackle for the Colts today.
All right, the Colts won the toss, and they will receive the kickoff from Charlie Bauman. And Clarence Verdun has to stay right there. So they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. And a look at the offensive line, and a very hefty offensive line for the Indianapolis Colts. The new name, Bubba Paris, acquisition from the San Francisco 49ers, and he is opening at the left guard position. Jeff George at quarterback. Albert Bentley is back. He will start the game. He was out last week with a separated shoulder. When the Colts go to the zebra and they bring on the extra wide receivers, Clarence Verdun checks in. Dickerson getting the call, and he is stopped after picking up a couple. David Griggs, the outside linebacker, number 92, making the stop. The front 7 for the Dolphins. Sean Lee starting at nose tackle, replacing the injured T.J. Turner, who is inactive today. The linebackers, Griggs, Reichenbach, Offerdahl, Cox, for Hugh Green, who did come to terms, but he is not in action today. And a look at the secondary, Magruder, Jackson, Williams, and Oliver when they go to the nickel. J.B. Brown, who is back after his holdout, comes on with Glenn and Langford. It is a 2nd down and 8 from the 22. 84 Hester in motion. And Georgia's throw is complete for a first down. Bill Brooks, newly elected co-captain out of Boston University, with the catch, covered by Vesty Jackson.
Well, you see Brooks here on the left side. He's going to be running the out cut. George raises up, hits him in strides against the zone defense. Easy catch for Brooks.
And a first down at the 31. Bill Brooks, last season, 62 receptions, 2nd on the Indianapolis Colts to Albert Bentley. The Colts last week at the Hoosier Dome lost to New England 16-7. The Patriots had dropped 14 in a row. Again, it is Dickerson. And once again, the Dolphins right there.
Well, there you see Bubba Paris at left guard, trying to cut off the nose. Tackle Sean Lee just chops him on his backside knee. Pretty good job by Bubba.
Bubba Paris says the last time that he played guard, it was in Sandlot ball. Bubba Paris goes 6'6". He says 320 pounds.
Well, there's some question on that, Mark.
It is a 2nd and 7 at the 34. George on the screen. Dickerson is stopped back behind the line.
Well, that's real good pursuit inside out by the Dolphin defense. When your defensive is screen, one guy has got to go right into the middle of it. Another guy's got to turn it in, and there's got to be inside pursuit. The Dolphins really played it well, got a lot of guys over there quickly.
Combination of Jeff Cross and Brian Cox made the stop. Brian Cox started last week in his first NFL game with Hugh Green still on side. He was victimized a couple of times last week by the Buffalo Bills. 5th round pick out of Weston, Illinois. It's a 3rd down and 8. 84 Hester again in motion. And Hester had it broken up. J.B. Brown, who was a holdout, this is first game back, playing the nickel position, able to get a piece of it to keep it away from Jesse Hester.
Well, of course, J.B. Marv was their starting corner last year, and they're working him in slowly to the Dolphin defense. Coach Shula said he'd just play on the nickel exclusively today, and there's a good play where he strips the ball from Hester.
Ron Stark, who for the first time over his 10-year NFL career did not punt at all last week, getting this one away. And the rookie from UCLA, Scott Miller, on the return. A 39-yard punt, 11-yard return. When we come back, Miami to the offense for the first time.
On September 22nd, you'll get your first look at a new luxury sedan that was designed by a sculptor. Until then, photo opportunities will be limited. Watch NBC September 22nd.
When what you eat and drink upsets your stomach, you want a medicine that works directly on your stomach itself. Pepto-Bismol. As it coats, Pepto delivers powerful medicine directly to your stomach, right where you hurt. It's powerful relief. Pepto-Bismol. It's real medicine for your stomach.
Who in the world would think of using the sun to actually cool the inside of a new luxury sedan? A company where innovative ideas flourish. Watch NBC September 22nd.
Inside your smooth-running engine is a torture chamber. And under these grueling conditions, only one leading motor oil meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown. Castrol, the only leading motor oil that provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol. After all, why make things tougher on your engine? Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars.
He is the NFL's winningest active coach in his 29th season as an NFL head coach. And he is the winningest coach in the history of both the Dolphins and the Colts.
That's an amazing thing there, Marv. Two different teams, the winningest coach. Just imagine how many practices you had to have that 298 wins.
Don Shula, one-time head coach of the Baltimore Colts over a 7-year stretch. Miami first down at the 41. No score in the early moments. Mark Higgs able to break a tackle and has the first down.
Well, this play starts strong side, but it's really designed to go weak side. Tony Page started on the strong side, ducked back under the center. Higgs followed him well, got around the corner, picked up 12 or 13 yards.
Mark Higgs playing for the injured Sammy Smith, who is on injured reserve. Goes only 5'7", maybe 195 pounds. And is Higgs again, and this time he is stopped. Last week, Higgs running for 146 yards, easily a career high. Jeff Perron made the stop. Well, Mark Higgs, over his previous 3 years in the NFL, did not see much activity. Last week in Buffalo, in his first career start, 146 yards on 30 carries, scored a touchdown. He is now second in rushing in the NFL behind Thurman Thomas of Buffalo. Second down and 6 at the Indianapolis 40. Higgs finding the hole and reaches out near the marker. Stopped by Dwayne Bickett.
This is the draw play, run to the left. A little unusual to run the draw to that side. Higgs again following Page, who's assigned to Matt Jaworski, 59. Higgs bounces it outside like he did on the other play where he followed Page and picked up a pretty good gain. Got a 3rd and short coming up right now.
Tony Page telling us that Higgs has a running style of his own that is short and squatty. Well captured by Tony. It is a 3rd down and 1. And it is Higgs picking up the first down. He was pushed back by Pryor, the free safety, on the stop, and the crowd reacting as the first down is indicated. Look at the Miami offensive line. We'll see a combination of Jeff Dellenbach and the return of Pro Bowler Richmond Webb at left tackle. Don Shula praising Bert Widener for his performance last week. And a look at the backfield with Page and Higgs, Duper, Clayton, and Farrell Edmonds are the receivers. Edmonds returning following the holdout, and when they go 4 wide, you see the additions, Jensen with Martin and Banks. The official indication, the referee, is Dale Hamer. 5.5 gone by in the first quarter. Miami and Indianapolis are scoreless. We had a nice chat with Mark Higgs the other day. He told you that, and very proudly, he said, "I'm taller than Joe Morris."
All those short guys are always looking for somebody to measure against them. They want to find a guy shorter, Marv.
And Marino throwing for the first time, and it is dropped by Page. Michael Ball, the strong safety, on the coverage. Frank Giannetti opening at nose tackle, making it from the developmental squad to a starting role, a rookie converted linebacker out of Penn State.
I can tell you, he's pretty nervous, Frank Giannetti. This is not only his first NFL game. I mean, he doesn't have any backup help, really, to work with today.
And you see the nickel with Taylor, Baylor, and Grant joining Good, Ball, Pryor in the secondary. It is a 2nd and 10 at the 33. Higgs trying to cut back, and he's hit for the loss. Quintus McDonald starting for the injured Chip Banks from the outside linebacker position, coming up to make the tackle.
Well, this is the play right here that Higgs gained a lot of his yards against Buffalo, the weak side lead. McDonald made a good play from the backside to get him down.
Miami now with a 3rd down and 12 at the Colts 35, and Jim Jensen has checked in as the extra receiver. Jim Jensen with a rare drop last week on a 3rd down and 2 in the 3rd quarter. Penalty flag is down as Marino fires, and it's picked off. Chris Good on the interception, but let's see what the flags are about.
Well, the flag is defensive encroachment, Marv. Dwayne Pickett. That's what happens when you have a linebacker kind of playing like a defensive lineman. He's really their 4th rusher, even though he's standing up over there in the middle. Colts using a 3-down line scheme, but Marino's one of the best in the league at voice inflection, and here's a good example of it.
Defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Yeah, there's Pickett right up the middle, offside. Harrod, you see, going over to cover Jensen.
So Ron Meyer looking at a 3rd down and 7 for Miami. 7th play of the drive from the Indianapolis 30 with 8:25 remaining in the first quarter. No score. And Marino has a man wide open. Fred Banks could not get to it.
Yeah, he's wide open. He beat the left corner. Now, this was a route here where Marino was going to go to Jensen. He saw Jensen double. He knew he had single on the outside, laid it up. Not a real good throw by Marino. A little high. A little better throw. That's 6 for Miami.
A 4th down and 7. And Charlie Bauman will attempt from 47 yards away. He's taken over for Pete Stoyanovich, who finally signed on Friday and reported to camp. And Bauman has done very well. He line drives it right through. A 47-yarder for the first-year player out of West Virginia. Miami 3-0 over Indianapolis.
Guys, doesn't get any better than this.
Doug Patterson was wrong, because when the Sharkfin started playing, it got somewhat better. And when the Swedish bikini team came surfing by, it got a little better. And when a treasure chest of old Milwaukee washed ashore, it most certainly got better. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It just doesn't get any better than this.
On September 22nd, an unusual kind of car company will bring back the glamour of the automobile. Until then, we can only entice you. Watch NBC September 22nd. On September 22nd, you'll find out about a car company that made its new sports coupe as exciting to listen to as it is to drive. Watch NBC September 22nd.
Dear USA, there is a city where marketplaces are full of wonders, where giants play, troubadours entertain, and elves and dragons dance together. A magical city where the friends you make are friends for life. It's Barcelona. It's in Spain.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By the U.S. Army and Army Reserve, be all you can be. By the Upjohn Company, if you're concerned about hair loss, see your doctor. And by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light, it doesn't get any better than this.
Welcome back to Joe Robbie in Miami. Marv Albert with Bill Parcells. 8:14 remaining in the first quarter, and it's 3-0 Miami as Bauman puts up a very short kick. Verdun on the return. And Verdun was tripped up. Clarence Verdun, a man who made it to the Pro Bowl as a kick return specialist, stopped by Jim Jensen. And a look at the 10-minute ticker. Nothing doing in Buffalo and Giant Stadium and in Philadelphia. Tampa Bay on a 31-yard field goal by Steve Christie off to a 3-0 lead on the Chicago Bears. And New Orleans and Atlanta jumping to the early lead. Well, Bill, there's your upset special, Green Bay and Detroit.
Don't worry, we're just underway, Marv.
And Indianapolis first down from the 25-yard line. Dickerson finding the hole and running for the first down. The free safety, Lewis Oliver, made the stop.
Here you see Bubba Paris on John Offerdahl, the linebacker. He's going to drive off, just base blocking. Hand it straight ahead to Dickerson. Nice hole, good block by Donaldson, the center. Dickerson comes on, runs over the safety coming up.
Now, reportedly, Eric Dickerson opened up this season in a happier frame of mind. No one has questioned his work ethic. He's pleased with his contract, has not criticized any of his offensive linemen. Here's Clarence Verdun. Oh, he has popped out of bounds. Brian Cox with the hit on Verdun.
Well, the guy they didn't fool there was Miami's Jeff Cross. He penetrated pretty well into the backfield, forcing Verdun to take the deep route and forces him to the sideline. And, of course, the Miami pursuit has plenty of time to get there. They're trying to hold Miami with the inside fake to Dickerson, but Cross penetrates too much, and Verdun can't get around the corner.
Picked up 3, second down and 7 from the 39-yard line.
Colts really trying to spread out the Miami defense and run up inside with Dickerson.
Miami defense coming off a very difficult day against Buffalo. Off play action, George, and it's broken up. The pass intended for Brooks. Good coverage by Vesti Jackson.
Vesti made an outstanding play. The ball's a little late getting there. Vesti knew what the route was going to be, saw George staring the receiver down. You can see Vesti only concentrate on the receiver out of the break, comes in, keeps his back arm free to make the tackle, strips the ball from Brooks, number 80.
Last week against New England, Jeff George setting career highs in several passing categories. He went 27 for 42, 301 yards, but the end result was a 16-7 loss to the Patriots. Hester peeling off. George looked that way and goes incomplete.
Some kind of miscommunication there between George and the receivers. George anticipating one of the wide receivers to break off his pattern. Apparently the receiver didn't see it at the same time George did, and as a result, the ball looks like it's being thrown nowhere.
And Ron Stark checks in. He'll punt for the second time. He's back at his 25-yard line. The deep man, Tony Martin, who has excellent speed in his second year out of Mesa in Colorado.
Now these left-footed punters, Marv, the ball rotates the other way. These returners aren't used to this.
And Martin up to the 30, and he is walloped. Big hit by Scott Radosick. We'll be back in a moment.
On September 22nd, you'll get your first look at a new luxury sedan that was designed by a sculptor. Until then, photo opportunities.
Well, Bill, the last time you got a close-up look at the Indianapolis Colts was a Monday night Giant Colt game at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, and I wanted to point out that, as we have seen, those involved with you during the course of the week of preparation for this game, you're always a very calm guy and always had very nice rapport with people that you've worked closely with.
Well, we're having a little argument here as to what we're going to have for dinner there, Marv.
Yeah.
Phil was wanting pizza and I was wanting Chinese, and you know, we'd had pizza 2 nights in a row, and so I told him he'd have to go over and look at the menu, make another selection.
We have experienced the same type of rapport with you. Should be pointed out.
Thank you very much.
A first down at the 30-yard line as the Miami Dolphins take over. 6:24 remaining in this first quarter. Marv Albert with the former head coach of the Super Bowl champion New York Giants, Bill Parcells. This is Higgs finding the hole up to the 37-yard line. Mark Higgs stopped by the combination of inside linebackers Matt Jaworski and Jeff Harrod. Mark Higgs has been a Plan B specialist, originally an 8th-round draft pick of Dallas, then on to Philadelphia and Miami. This is second year with Miami. He was exposed, as he told us, once again, but he said he had enough movement. He wanted to stay with the Dolphins.
Well, it's a new system every year. Some of those guys, 3 teams, 3 systems. He decided he just wanted to stick around and try 2 years in one place.
Second down and 3 at the 37. And Marino has a sideline completion. Mark Duper just did remain in bounds.
Well, this is the nice thing about Miami's offense. They run 3 or 4 off-tackle plays at you here in the first drive, start the second drive with 1, then come out, throw the play action offer it. Good job keeping his feet in bounds right on the sideline.
First down at the 48.
Linebackers got to honor that kind of stuff, especially when Higgs is running for that kind of yardage.
And apparently they are going to check it out. Looks like they'll review it. All right, we'll get another look at it.
I don't think we need too many looks at this one, Marv. He's got both of them in there pretty well.
You're convinced, huh? It's tough.
Well, there's 2 guys looking at it. They're convinced.
I think difficult to tell from that angle.
Well,
you like it, though.
I think the referees are doing a great job.
Yes.
That'll be the first game that I ever thought they were doing a great job.
I think your opinion's a little hard on the officials, though. I asked you, do you like this guy? Do you like that guy? Apparently they are saying, yes, it was the pass was complete. And you'll pull out a list of stats as to how you've done with specific officials. Higgs is stopped. So I'll ask you, what do you think of Del Hamer? You'll say, well, we were 9 up and 5 down when Hamer's been the referee. So, yeah, not bad.
That's right. As long as we had a winning record, and especially at home, Mark. Especially at home.
Very objective way
to
of checking it out. Yeah.
Right.
Second down and 13. And there is Del Hamer in his 14th year as a National Football League referee. 4 minutes and 45 seconds to go in this opening quarter from Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. 47-yard field goal by Charlie Bauman for a 3-0 Dolphin lead. Higgs and Donnell Thompson got the wraps on him. Number 99 in his 11th season from North Carolina.
Well, Thompson, of course, is the veteran the mainstay of the Colts defensive line and has been since 1980. And the thing about it, they don't have too many healthy backups today, Marv. John Hand and Donnell Thompson in this weather may have to go the whole way, and you never know what that's going to do to the fourth quarter pass rush in a close game.
How about those huge offensive linemen in this 84-degree weather?
Now take it easy, Marv. I could have been almost in that club at one point in time.
It's a 3rd down and 11. Jim Jensen has checked in. Miami keeping the ball on the ground here in the first quarter. They've rushed it 8 times, thrown only 3. This is number 4. Jensen is stopped short of the first down.
Well, that's exactly what the Colts want to accomplish there. Deep drops on the zone, make Marino dump it, take away his downfield, come up, make the tackle, make him punt. This is a maximum drop zone here. Only a 3-man rush. He has to throw it underneath. Harrod, who plays every play for the Colts all year long, comes up, makes a good play.
Harrod had 15 tackles against New England last week. Here's Reggie Roby. Don Shula telling us as Roby fields the low snap that's exactly what he wants Roby to do. They do not want to see Verdun with punt returns, and a flag is thrown.
Well, that's interference, Marv, with the opportunity to make a fair catch. That's got to be a penalty on the Dolphins.
That's Kerry Glenn, who was going for that high driving punt off the foot of Roby, and he is contesting Clarence Verdun, who was trying to call for the fair catch.
Well, he gave a clear fair catch signal. I don't know what Glenn's looking at. He's supposed to see it. Verdun has to be given the opportunity to catch the ball. There's the signal, distinct, but Glenn's looking up at the ball. He never sees Verdun give the fair catch signal. Hey, the defense has to see it.
So first out at the 27 for Indianapolis when we return.
On September 22nd, an unusual kind of car company will bring back the glamour of the automobile. Until then, we can only entice you. Watch NBC September 22nd.
Guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
Walt Smith was wrong, because when Muskrat Mike discovered gold, it got somewhat better. And when the Swedish bikini team came downstream, it got a little better. And when reinforcements of Old Milwaukee arrived, it most certainly got better. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It just doesn't get any better than this.
On September 22nd, you'll find out about a car company that made its new sports coupe as exciting to listen to as it is to drive. Watch NBC September 22nd.
Monday, the all-new premiere of The Fresh Prince's new season is going to hit you like an... Get into the all-new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on NBC Monday.
Well, coming up is the second half of our doubleheader, the San Diego Chargers and the San Francisco 49ers from Candlestick in San Francisco. Phil, how successful can the 49ers be with Steve Young at quarterback for perhaps quite some time in the absence of Joe Montana?
Well, Marv, you got to remember, you know, Steve Young couldn't get the starting quarterback job at Tampa Bay when they didn't have one. Now, what he's done is come in out there in San Francisco, made a few plays. Everybody thinks he can do it, but it's a different set of circumstances now when you know you're the guy.
My feeling is there are doubts from you regarding Steve Young.
Several.
First down at the 27 as the Colts take over. Dickerson picks his way across the 30-yard line, met by John Offerdahl. We're just under 3 minutes to go in this first quarter, and Miami leading Indianapolis by the score of 3-0. Eric Dickerson, incidentally, apologized after practice to Indianapolis News sports writer Tom Reitman for pushing him in the locker room the other day. Dickerson becoming angry when Reitman asked him a question about returning to L.A. to face the Raiders next week. Apparently, Eric was asked, do you expect that they will boo you when you return to Los Angeles. Here's Dickerson. Out to the 34, and a penalty flag is down. General Manager Jim Irsay said that the locker room incident was a mistake, and it's something the Colts don't condone. Yeah, I would think that would be true.
Absolutely. You don't want your players fighting with the press.
Holding call indicated.
Well, flag thrown by the field judge. Now, his assignment is to watch the tight end. So I'm assuming, unless he was watching someone
Holding.
else.
Offense, number 81. 10-yard penalty, second down.
And it is the tight end, 81, Pat Beach. And they mark it off. It will be a second down and 15 back at the 22. Getting back to the subject of, there's Pat Beach, of Eric Dickerson. Over the years, he has played exceptionally well against Miami. He's got over 100 yards in 7 of the 8 games against the Dolphins.
Real dangerous situation for George right here. 2nd and 17, deep in your own territory.
And he had a sidearm it. Dickerson shaken up, hit from behind.
Good call by the Colts, though. They had the screen on. They just had to take care of Offerdahl, who recognized it very quickly. Had they been able to do that a little better, I think this might have been a big gainer for the Colts.
Bill, we saw that sidearm motion from Jeff George. And at times, instead of going up top, that has hurt him. It's resulted in passes being batted down.
Well, he's just trying to get it under the arms of the defensive lineman. Sometimes that's the way to do it, but lots of times it turns out badly for you.
It's a 3rd down and 15 from the 22. And Dickerson is stopped. Alfred Oglesby from his left defensive end position, stopping Eric Dickerson, and the crowd of Joe Robbie responding to the defensive play of the Dolphins, who last week were shredded by Buffalo, allowing 583 yards.
Well, and also, Mark, some of the Colt fans might question that draw call there, but that's an area down and deep in your own territory, 3rd and 17. The chances of picking up the first down aren't very good. I think it was a pretty good call by Coach Meyer not to make the big mistake and go down 10-0 early.
Scott Miller awaiting the punt that nearly was blocked. Good punt by Stark. Here's Miller, the rookie from UCLA, tripped up as he crossed the 30-yard line. And they're saying down by contact. 52-yard punt, 8-yard return. Michael Ball on the coverage. And Miami back to the offense. Buffalo now in front of Pittsburgh. We're told that Thurman Thomas has been sidelined by injury in that game. Rams and the Giants, no score in the 2nd. Last time you saw the L.A. Rams at Giants Stadium, Flipper Anderson was running through the exit.
Right out of the gate, and the season was suddenly over.
Tampa Bay leads Chicago. New Orleans over Kansas City. And your selection down 7-zip.
I had an awful lot of advice in that selection. Not going to enumerate the people that advised me to.
Do you know, I have discovered
the Packers.
You are one of the great deflectors of our time.
Well, when you've coached in this league as long as I had, you have to learn to deflect some of it, Mark.
The Dolphins first down from the 31 with 50 seconds remaining in the quarter, and they are reviewing this play. The question is, was he down by contact? Looked like he was tripped up. The ball fell loose and was recovered, but the call will stand that it is Miami ball.
Yep. Great play there.
Mark Higgs wiggling his way to the 38, picked up 7. Quintus McDonald made the stop.
Yeah. Mark Higgs on the same draw play that they ran the other way, and of course running behind their tight end Farrell Edmonds and the fullback Tony Page. And in talking to Higgs yesterday, he said that Edmonds always told him at the All-Star game, the Blue-Gray All-Star game, that he blocked them into the pros.
Yeah.
And he's still doing it for him.
2nd down and 3 from the 38. Marino for Higgs. And a first down. A pickup of 15.
Well, this is the great thing about Dan Marino. He's already completed this same play-action pass once on this sideline. But the Colts are rolling into the wide receiver a little bit tighter this time, so he just dumps it to his second guy, Higgs, on the check down.
And on that pass play, this first quarter has come to a close. Miami 3, Indianapolis nothing.
Oil. It's the lifeblood of your engine. That makes your oil filter your engine's most vital organ. That's why Fram keeps going the extra mile to make the best protection even better. Introducing the new Fram Extra Guard. New glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter for the best protection ever. The new Fram Extra Guard. American or import, it's an extra lease on life.
Today, a guy losing his hair can choose between being the man he wants to be.
We look great with hair. Do something to save it.
And the man he could become.
Can't you accept nature like everyone else?
Doctors have hair loss treatment programs that are proven to work. And the sooner you see a doctor, the better.
We don't want nature. We want hair.
When you've considered the arguments,
we might look great bald.
And you decide you want hair, there's only one thing to do. See your doctor. Or call this number for more information.
Unfortunately, this is how we live. Groceries in, garbage out. Groceries in, garbage out. Fortunately, there are aluminum cans. You use them and recycle them. Use them and recycle them. It's that easy. So please do your part. We're not asking you to save the world. We're just asking you to take better care of it.
The 49ers. The Chargers. A Wild West showdown. Next.
Welcome back to Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, the 1991 home opener for the Dolphins. This is the Dolphins' 5th season of play here at Joe Robbie. And they lead the Colts 3-0 as the second quarter gets underway. Miami first down at the Indianapolis 48-yard line. Higgs and Page are the running backs. Here's Higgs. Donnell Thompson getting the reps on Mark Higgs. Well, last week, Miami allowed 582 yards to the Buffalo Bills. Certainly a high-scoring Buffalo team, but looks like the defense has come up strong here in the first quarter against Indianapolis, allowing only 34 total yards.
Well, 582, you know, Marv, you can't take that for very long. You're not going to win any games if you give up that kind of yards.
But certainly a difference in quality when you're talking about the Indianapolis Colts and the Buffalo Bills. Second down and 9 at the 47. And Marino in trouble and throws it away. And there you see the difference from the in the grasp and under control rule that has been slightly refined for this season. In the past, this would be called a sack.
Right. Well, this is the referee's discretion. Now, see, one guy's got a hold of him, but no one else is threatening him. So they're going to let the quarterback hang on to the ball and make a play very similar to that if he's not threatened by another defensive player.
Third down and 9. Dan Marino last week 17 for 28, 267 yards. And Marino with the bullet. And we get the flag for interference. Mark Duper tied up by Eugene Daniel.
Well, Daniel's on him pretty good. He's got deep help. He's supposed to stay between Duper and the ball. Now, Duper forces his way into Daniel. To me, Marv, that's pretty good defense. He's got a right to that position.
And Eugene Daniel certainly has that opinion, as does Ron Meyer, the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. However, it's a first down for the Dolphins at the Colt 32. Opening minute, second quarter. Marino with the time, and then is brought down. Sam Clancy will get credit for the sack. We're set for an NFL update. Let's go to Bob Costas.
All right, Marv, although Pittsburgh is threatening as the second quarter starts in Buffalo, after one, it's the Bills by 10-0. Here's the big play, a 53-yard Jim Kelly to James Lofton hookup. He beats Rod Woodson, then watch. For this outrageous display of emotion, tossing the ball behind and then touching the hands of a few fans, he's assessed a 5-yard celebration penalty as the NFL continues its maniacal march to try and control everybody. Back to Marv and Bill.
Whoa. Well, Bob taking a strong stand. Second down and 20. And Tony Page to the 35-yard line.
Well, the Colts brought in their 4-down lineman on second and extra long there to try to get a little better pass rush in the obvious long yardage situation. Made Marino dump it off underneath. Came up and made a good tackle. Now they got a third and extra long again.
It'll be a third down and 12. And again, Jim Jensen back in there. Tony Page, excellent blocker.
This is a tough situation for a defense, Marv. Do you try to knock them out of field goal range, or do you give them the completion and make the tackle and then let them kick the field goal? Always a tough choice for a defensive coordinator here.
And Marino stepping up and throwing, and it's loose ball, still alive. The Colts feel they picked it off, and they have. Mike Pryor, the free safety, off the tip, able to come up with the intercept, the pass intended for Clayton.
Well, they elected to use maximum coverage and concede the field goal there. Marino threw it down the middle of the field. The ball's tipped. It's bouncing around. There's so many Colts on defense. They come up with the interception.
We'll be back after these words.
Because if you don't watch your figure, who will?
It's the right field now.
Because when it comes to water, the only place to start is at the top.
It's the right field now.
Because when the party's going full steam, you don't want to fill up. So reach for the beer that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet.
It's not a wagon, not a van, but whatever you're dragging, Expo can. Introducing Mitsubishi Expo and Expo LRV. Got some stuff with a lot of people? Expo seats from 7 deep. Well, got some people with a lot of stuff? LRV is more than enough. Not too big, not too small. Available with all-wheel drive, they'll haul you every day or on a getaway. Expo and Expo LRV. We call them sport wagons, but they're whatever you want them to be. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
I'm a big man.
Why do so many men stick with Bic?
I'm a big man.
Because there's a Bic for every beard. Regular, sensitive, metal.
Yeah, I'm a big man.
I'm a big man.
The temperature never drops below Xerex. That's important to remember at a time like this, when it's very dark and very cold. Ah, you did remember Xerex Antifreeze. The temperature never drops below Xerex. Next Saturday, 3-time Tour de France winner Greg LeMond takes on the world's best in the crown jewel of cycling, the World Cycling Championships on NBC.
Well, you see the Colts here just rushing 3, electing to drop all these. This guy here gets out of position. Marino throws it down the middle of the field, gets tipped. All the Colts converge, make the interception.
And off the deflection, it was picked off by Mike Pryor. Colts take over from their 12-yard line, and George goes with the sideline pattern to Bentley. Albert Bentley, who missed last week with a separated shoulder. A native of Florida, 7th year out of the University of Miami, and he was covered by Vesti Jackson. Picked up 8 on the play.
Well, they're using Bentley and last week Anthony Johnson kind of as a wide receiver here. They're deploying him out. He's been out about 7 or 8 times already, trying to spread the Dolphin defense for Dickerson.
Bentley split to the left side. Dickerson goes the left side, try to stiff arm his way, and we'll have to see where they spot it. Followed out by Brian Cox. You mentioned Anthony Johnson last week, 11 catches, 87 yards in the absence of Albert Bentley. I know you have coined a phrase concerning players such as Bentley and Johnson.
Well, we call those satellite players, Marv. You think they're backs, but every time you look up, they're split out wide.
Satellite players. Who else would you put in that category?
Oh, James Brooks, Steve Sewell. Guys like that.
Dickerson short of the first down by a yard. Tries again. Mike Reichenbach on the stop. And again, we'll have to see where they spot the football. And they'll call for the yardsticks. There they are, the Bill Parcells satellite players, Bentley and Johnson of the Colts. Negative in that category, Sewell and Brooks.
They're detached from the main body. That's why I call them satellite players. You know, they look like backs. They got backs numbers. You think they're backs. You expect them in the backfield run, and then you look up and they're split out wide. I didn't go to NASA or anything.
Yeah. So the Dolphins hearing it from the crowd for the defensive effort as Dickerson was held short of the first down.
Well, this creates good field position opportunity for the Dolphins again. Anytime you make the team punt, their punter standing on the 6-yard line right now, you should be getting the ball somewhere around midfield after the return. And this creates another scoring opportunity for the Dolphins. Now, they've had several already, Marv. Haven't been able to take advantage. Only got 3 on the board. Pretty soon this field position is going to turn around.
Ron Stark, who did not punt at all last week against New England, back to punt for his 4th time, and a flag is thrown.
Ball start. Number 31, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Number 31 is Michael Ball.
Well, this is also that new rule, Marv, where anytime an offensive guy makes any type of encroaching type move, they're going to call it and stop the play right now. Now, last year, he would have got a chance to reset. Yeah, he's the right wing back right there, sitting right off the tackle.
Stark punting from his 3 and just did get it away. Scott Miller on the return again. A flag has been tossed. Miller upended at the 40, a 56-yard punt, 12-yard return. Radisic made the stop. And once again, it's called on the Colts. Chatting with Ron Meyer yesterday, he seemed to be a bit on the disheartened side, something you can certainly relate to.
Well, yeah, Marv, as I said at the top of the show, you know, when you're having to redo your offense.
2 men in the middle of the line on the kicking team. Penalties decline. First down. Timeout.
All right, we'll get back to that point in just a moment. Timeout has been taken with 4 minutes gone by in the second.
It's a symbol of security for millions of Americans. A document that protects your rights in all 50 states. And an inspiration for all who honor it. It's the Goodyear Promise. Available only with Goodyear Certified Auto Service. It includes a nationwide warranty that promises we'll fix your car right or fix it again free at 2,700 locations nationwide. Good tires. Good service. Good people. Goodyear.
Whether you're crossing the Sahara or climbing Kilimanjaro or hiking through Hoboken, keep in mind, 2/3 of the earth is covered by water. We do. Waterproof Rockports, all-terrain vehicles for your feet. It's
It's not a wagon, not a van, but whatever you're dragging, Expo can. Introducing Mitsubishi Expo and Expo LRV. Got some stuff with a lot of people? Expo seats some 7 deep. Well, got some people with a lot of stuff? LRV is more than enough. Not too big, not too small. Available with all-wheel drive, they'll haul you every day or on a getaway. Expo and Expo LRV. We call them sport wagons, but they're whatever you want them to be. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
The all-terrain soles of the new high-performance Rockports have a technologically unique design of lugs and grooves and gripping cups in a high-traction gummy rubber compound. So you won't fall off the mountain. Rockports, all-terrain vehicles for your feet.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Coors Light. The silver bullet is the right beer now. By Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. By MetLife, get Met, it pays. And by the good tires, good service, and good people at your nearby Goodyear retailer.
Marv Albert, Bill Parcells from Miami. For those of you who missed the NFL Live show, Colts owner Bob Irsay, according to Will McDonough, nearly fired coach Ron Meyer after last week's loss to the Patriots. And Joe Montana will get a starting job back with the 49ers. We'll get back to that in a moment. Another story credited to Will as Marino is able to complete to Duper for the first down. Chris Good on the stop. It is a pickup of 16. Ron Meyer telling us yesterday that he felt the Colts were tight last week against the Patriots.
I can identify with that, Mark. You know, you play a team that's 1-15, and we played them the last game of the year. They were 1-14. Our guys pretty tight too, and we only managed to beat them by 3 points.
First down at the 44. It is Miami with a 3-0 lead on Indianapolis. Hard driving move by Martin Higgs. How about that story, though, by Will, that last week after the game, Robert Irsay, president, treasurer of the Indianapolis Colts, wanted to fire Ron Meyer?
I just think it's awful early in the season to talk about firing coaches. You got to give a guy a chance to coach the team. You know, he might wind up 15-1. I mean, I don't think so, but he might. It's a possibility.
That, of course, a stretch.
Yeah, and I'm a little prejudiced as far as the coaches are concerned, too, Mark.
It is a 2nd down and 4, and Higgs for a short pickup. So Higgs 12 carries for 50 yards, so off to a strong start coming off the 146-yard performance against Buffalo last week.
More important than that, Marv, the Colt defense is starting to get a lot of plays run at them here. The weather could start being a factor. They've been on the field a little bit of time here. Miami's pressure in the scoring zone. The defense could start to weaken a little bit if they can't get off the field.
Greg Beatty has come in as the second tight end. Nice cutback for the first down, collected by Higgs.
Just an improvision play by Higgs. He has no gain. It should be a minus play for the Colts. They have him, as you see, caught right in the backfield. There's deep penetration in the backfield. Contact made right there. Should be able to wrestle him down. Nobody wraps him up. Good balance, gets out, jumps a guy, makes 5 yards out of nothing.
Mark Higgs, the man playing for the injured Sammy Smith, who is out with a knee on injured reserve, continues to do an outstanding job. First down, and Marino completes. The rookie Aaron Craver coughed it up, and Jeff Harrod on the recovery. Aaron Craver, 3rd-round pick out of Fresno State, hearing it from the crowd.
Yeah, he's, you know, that's a rookie mistake, but this is 2 turnovers created by the Colt defense here in the last 2 series, both of which take away Miami scoring opportunities. Now, you know, in a game, Marv, you only get so many chances to put those points up, and Miami just saw 2 go right by the board right here. Craver, of course, there discouraged, wondering if he's going to get back in the game again today. All the players will come around. You see Jensen there. Going to pat him, tell him it's okay. Get him next time.
Indianapolis taking over at their 27. 8:20 left in the second quarter. George Hester could not hold on and is ruled incomplete. Mesty Jackson on the coverage. Jesse Hester, the Colts surprise of a year ago with 54 catches, 6 touchdowns. He had been a disappointment, one-time first-round draft pick of the Los Angeles Raiders.
Well, he was out of football for a whole year, Marv. He came back. You know, he, of course, was waived by the Raiders or wound up with the Falcons. Didn't do too well there. Now he's kind of sat out, came back, and found a home here with the Colts.
Shake it up on that play as he heads to the sideline. 2nd down and 10 at the 27. George dumping it off to Bentley, but he's well covered. Mike Reichenbach, the inside linebacker, was all over Albert Bentley.
The old Philadelphia Eagle there, Mike Reichenbach, free agent player with the Eagles. I've seen plenty of that guy. Good, smart team leader. Always called all the defenses in Philadelphia for him.
Number 52, Mike Reichenbach, spent 6 years with the Eagles. This is 2nd with Miami. He was signed as a Plan B. It's a 3rd down and 9 at the 28. The Colts with only 2 first downs to this point. Last week, Miami allowed 35 to Buffalo. That is Verdant in motion. George hauled down by Jeff Cross.
Well, you see Cross just gets off on the ball right there and beats Zephros Moss on a speed rush right around the corner. Moss didn't get out of his stance quickly enough, couldn't get his hands on him. That's an easy sack. That's a gimme. What we call a gimme right there, Mark.
Cross had a rough day last week in Buffalo. Made the Pro Bowl last year, got off to that blazing start, and then slowed down. Scott Miller, after the buff, able to recover. And brings up to the 34-yard line. Good punt by Stark. It went 54 yards and a 9-yard return by Miller.
Ever since Mitsubishi Motors began 75 years ago, the diamond has been used as the unbending guiding principle of Mitsubishi quality. The name Mitsubishi means 3 diamonds. Now, for its diamond anniversary, Mitsubishi proudly introduces the Diamante, a new luxury performance sedan that is brilliant in every facet. The new Diamante from Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
MetLife manages assets of over $125 billion. When 45 million people count on you for insurance and financial services, you can never be too strong. Get Met. It pays.
1 year ago, a wing and a prayer helped Notre Dame capture a dramatic come-from-behind victory.
Caught by Adrian Gerald on a deflection. What a play!
In 2 weeks, these teams meet again as the Michigan State Spartans invade South Bend to battle the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame football is home on NBC.
Scott Miller took a pop off that last punt return, and they are checking him over. 9th round draft pick out of UCLA. Just under 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. Miami first down from their 33. Off the play action. Marino hits the tight end Edmonds. Farrell Edmonds stopped by Quintus McDonald. Now back to our studios in New York. Here's Bob.
All right, Marv, on 4th and goal at about the 2-yard line of the Patriots, the Browns line up tackle Paul Farron as an eligible receiver, but Kozar's pass to him will be broken up in the end zone, and the game remains scoreless. Meanwhile, a note for Marv and Bill. My Phoenix Cardinals ahead 13-0 in the second quarter in Philadelphia and driving inside the Eagle 10. They just scored a field goal. I'm getting instructions from...
Bob, that is very exciting, and we can expect similar updates right throughout the day. Riding on the tail of the Phoenix Cardinals, Mark Higgs with that last carry, and it sets up a 3rd down and 1 for the Dolphins from the 42 with 5:50 to go in this first half.
Big 3rd down here, Marv. The Colts can get off the field here defensively. This will be their 3rd good series in a row.
Colts with 5 possessions and 5 punts. Ron Stark has had a superb day. And a hard driving move once again by Mark Higgs, and he has the first down. Stopped by John Hand. Let's check out the 10-minute ticker. It is Buffalo in front of Pittsburgh now 17-3. The Rams leading the Giants. 10-3. Phoenix, as Bob mentioned, with a 16-0 lead. Chicago in front of the second quarter. Look at New Orleans over Kansas City.
That is
leads Minnesota
there.
Bill Belichick, your former assistant, scoreless with New England in the second, and Detroit maintaining the 7-0 lead on Green Bay. Hicks trying to go wide, and he is pushed back.
Well, that's excellent run force by the right corner, Eugene Daniel, number 38. He comes up, squeezes the split end blocker down, closes in on the play. Inside pursuit gets it. It's a real good job by Daniel. You see him here at the bottom of the screen, coming up the force. There he is.
That is carry number 16 by Mark Hicks. He told us yesterday he had not run 30 times in a game as he did last week against Buffalo since his last collegiate game when Kentucky played at Tennessee.
At Tennessee. That's a lot of carries for a guy 5'7", 30.
2nd down and 9. Aaron Craver has entered the Miami backfield, and this is Craver with it. So Craver, who coughed it up a moment ago, gets the call for the first time. He was stopped by Jeff Harrod. A short pickup. It's a 3rd down and 7 for Miami. Aaron Craver out of Fresno State. The Dolphins like his speed and the way he cuts back. They also like his receiving skills. Craver likens his style to Eric Dickerson. Runs with the high knees. Says likes to cut back.
Well, you know, he's got a way to go before he can put himself in that class.
Jensen has come on for this 3rd down and 7. And Marino bottled up and hauled down for the second time. Jeff Harrod has had an outstanding second quarter.
Well, Marino had to get the ball down the field there. They picked a little corner pattern on the right side, trying to get it to Duper. Takes a little longer to run. Duper's not out of the cut-in time. The protection doesn't hold. They wind up sacking Marino. See him? He's looking for Duper. Can't get it to him. Harrod.
And Reggie Roby is back and is 25, punting for the second time. Clarence Verdun, who last year led the NFL, averaging just under 13 yards per return, once again not able to get to the ball. A 33-yard punt, but the Dolphins have to be happy because Verdun did not run it back.
In Japan, where the luxury performance sedan has been revolutionized by Lexus and Infiniti, a new luxury performance sedan has just won Japan's highest honor. Introducing the new Diamante from Mitsubishi, Japan's car of the year. Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case of do or die.
Monday, it's an NBC special preview when the Fresh Prince shakes up the new season with an... But don't worry, he'll be fine.
I'm a grown man. I'm under a table clutching a teddy bear. I am not fine.
Then, we've shown you them all summer.
Did the lens break there?
Now watch Mark and Brian do whatever it takes to sing and dance with the Temptations. The Adventures of Mark and Brian after an all-new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air previewing Monday on NBC.
This is one of your favorite topics of conversation as we look at the question mark next to the 325 credited to Bubba Paris. 8 of the Colts' 9 offensive linemen tipped the scales at 300 or more. You are not a proponent of the huge offensive linemen.
Well, I like 300-pounders, but I'd hate to take those guys down to Food Town, Mark.
It is a first down at the 24, and down goes Jeff George. Brian Cox, the outside linebacker, the rookie from Weston, Illinois, able to whip his way in for the sack.
And this is a guy that Don Shula is very high on. 5th round draft choice. We were talking yesterday about him. He said he was telling me that this is the guy that is the closest to the linebackers we had at the Giants that he's had down here. And he feels like this guy has a very bright future for the Dolphins.
Second down and 18. Back at the 16. Miami 3 and Indianapolis nothing. Dickerson accelerates, and he's stopped at the 20 by Reichenbach. Now let's get back to the 300-pounders, Bill. You don't like 300-pound linemen unless they are agile athletes. Am I correct now? You're telling me you like the beefy guys?
Well, I like the height on these guys.
The height?
Yeah, we can make a basket. You know, we have a good off-season basketball team. You know, we got 5 or 6 guys, 6'6" and 6'7". You know, we play basketball for charity and that type of thing, but I think you can let it get out of hand. We always had a pretty stringent weight criteria at the Giants. Our players had to weigh in every Friday. And, you know, of course, if they didn't make weight, I had some of their money in my pocket.
Yes. We'll be back after this.
I'm Bill Brooks of the Indianapolis Colts. And today in America, we have a crisis. Single-parent families are deteriorating. Fatherless families are in trouble, particularly when it comes to raising sons. This is a picture of a black family, but something is missing. What the family in this picture needs is a father figure. Someone to provide a strong emotional bond, attachment, commitment, and love. When there is no father figure, this need can be filled by a mentor. That's why the United Way supports the 100 Black Men Project here in Indianapolis, where black male role models are trained and work with individual black children to provide personal interaction that gives a child self-esteem and love. But that goes hand in hand with ensuring physical and scholastic tutoring. Being a mentor to help save these children is the most rewarding experience in any of our lives. To all of you who support your United Way, thanks, because the United Way, it brings out the best in all of us, right?
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Indianapolis Colts fortunate to be trailing only 3-0. Their defense has done a nice job, but it's been a futile half offensively. Only 32 yards in all. George 4 for 9 for 16 yards in the first half, and Dickerson has run for only 29 on 8 carries.
Well, worse than that, Marv. They've had 2nd and 16, 2nd and 18, 2nd and 20. Here you got a 3rd and 13. Now, it's hard to play offensive football. The defense has a big edge in these situations.
The Colts have accounted for only 2 first downs, and it is a 3rd down and 13 at the 21 with just under 2 minutes to go first half. George with the sidearm to Dickerson, running for the first down and runs it out of bounds.
Well, that may be the play that gives the Colt offense a little impetus. Here you see Dickerson here in the backfield. He's going to release out. George just throws it underneath to him on a little stop route. Dickerson turns up, makes the first down. Zone defense for Miami. See him on the reception. Open field tackle situation. Defensive players can't make it. Dickerson sprints him to the chain.
And a first down at the 35-yard line. Minute 52 left in this first half. 3-0 Miami on a 47-yard field goal by Charlie Bauman. Off-balance pass completed to Albert Bentley. Jarvis Williams, Lewis Oliver, pair of safety men combining on the stop.
Well, of course, Bentley played his college football down here at the University of Miami. He's got a lot of family and friends here in the stands to take up a whole section here at Joe Robbins.
Yes, he had to collect the tickets for this one. 2nd down and 4. And we'll have to see where forward progress is marked. Eric Dickerson with the catch, and it is a first down. Jarvis Williams had him tied up.
Well, in talking to Jeff George yesterday, he said in the game plan they're going to use Dickerson a little more as a pass receiver today, and that's what we're seeing here in this 2-minute drill.
Yeah, we're seeing it in the later stage of the second quarter. One-hand attempt by Bentley. It'll be a 2nd and 10 at the 46. Last year, Albert Bentley was the NFL's 3rd leading running back receiver, accounting for 30% of the Colts' net yardage. He came up with 71 receptions a year ago.
Well, now the objective here in this 2-minute drill, if the Colts can ever get across midfield to where the Dolphins will change their zone style of defense and take a gamble, that's when George has the opportunity to get the big play.
2nd and 10. Inside handoff to Dickerson, who broke a tackle, broke another, and gets across midfield. Lewis Oliver, the free safety, up to make the stop, and a timeout taken. When we resume, it will be a 3rd down and 5 at the Miami 49 as the Colts use their first timeout.
Well, they had a draw play on here into a Miami blitz situation. Very difficult to do it. Sean Lee having a little trouble with Bubba there.
Lost his helmet in the process.
This is the World Federation Wrestling, it looks like.
There's Bubba Paris. 9th year out of Michigan.
You know, Marv, that Sean Lee looked a little like that junkyard dog guy they have on that World Federation Wrestling.
I understand you follow these things very closely.
Got to keep up on all sports, you know.
Sean Lee back after a contract dispute. He played much nose tackle last year in the absence of Brian Sauché, who had been suspended for steroid use. Sauché, the lone unsigned Miami Dolphin, with Stoyanovich coming in on Friday. George with the time. Now being pursued. And runs it out of bounds at the marker.
That's excellent improvisation by Jeff George. That's a big play for the Dolphins. Now they're in striking distance. Plenty of time.
George only 7 for 13 for 42 yards. Had a rough time last year against Miami in the first meeting, played briefly, and the second game took a hard hit, sack, fumble.
But if they could pick up 3 points here, Marv, with the way it's gone for them the first half, to go in with a tie, they consider themselves lucky on the road down here at Joe Robbie.
Well, 41 seconds remaining, second quarter. Again, the sidearm motion for Bentley. Well, you're talking about picking up 3 points, and Ron Meyer would look in the direction of Dean Biasucci, who was 0 for opening day. He went 0 for 4, and that really obviously hurt the Colts against New England.
Well, of course, you know, the New England couldn't even make the Colts punt last week. I mean, Stark has no punts. George gets his team down the field several times, and it falls on your field goal kicker. And, you know, if you don't have a field goal kicker that can kick 75, 80%, then you start looking around for a new field goal kicker. Now, I can tell you, Mark, I went through 6 in 1 year. So I was looking every week there for a while, and it's very exasperating for the whole football team when your guy gets down there, you put the ball in position, and then you come away with nothing.
And Biasucci has had some outstanding years. Did not have a good one last year. Did not have a good preseason this year.
Well, these kickers, you know, it's what can you do for me today?
Well, coming up at halftime, Bob, O.J., and Will. Scores and highlights. Bob and O.J. making it back successfully from Tokyo. And a close-up look at the San Diego Chargers situation. Bobby Beathard, an alum of NFL Live, will face the questions at halftime.
Little heat out there in San Diego, too, early in the season.
As the offensive coordinator, Ted Calmer, is gone. Your friend Dan Henning on the spot. Second down and 7. And George, looking for a receiver, takes a hit, able to get it off incomplete. David Griggs putting the pressure on.
Well, George escapes the pocket, and of course he can't see Griggs coming back at him from the pass rush. He sets up. He thinks he has plenty of time. There's Griggs, 92, closing down on George. Puts his helmet right in the middle of the back. Sometimes they don't get up from those kind.
Griggs, a very strong physical player in his 3rd season out of Virginia. 21 seconds remaining in the first half. 3rd down and 7.
Biggest play of the half for the Colts right here, without question.
Dolphins 3, Colts nothing. Bentley on the completion. Indianapolis has 1 timeout remaining as Bentley picked up the first down with 13 seconds remaining in the half.
Well, there's Bentley lined up in that satellite position that I was talking about. George gets it back, runs down, runs a little stop right here, just dumps it to him. Bentley dodges the guy, makes the first down. There he is. Got to elude that first tackler on zone defense if you're going to pick up any yards.
So first down at the 30 with 13 seconds remaining in the half. How many yards you figure the Colts need for at least a good shot for Biasucci? This would be from this spot about a 48-yard attempt.
Well, the problem here is getting the clock stopped, Marv, if they keep him in bounds. I think he'll maybe throw it in the end zone or throw it on the sideline. Dolphin defense should know that, though.
Well, Dickerson looking toward the sideline, took his eye off it, and could not hold on, so they're down to 8 seconds to go in the half.
They got to kick it now. I don't know how they were planning on stopping the clock, Marv. If he'd have caught that ball, I think they would have had to huddle up, and George would have had to make an attempt to spike it, but I don't know whether they had enough time to do that.
Well, this is a 48-yard attempt for Biasucci, who last week went 0 for 4, all from long range, 52, 48, 44, and 42. The 48-yard attempt was blocked. Tough way to get back on track. Biasucci puts it right through, and that has to feel very good for Ron Meyer and Dean Biasucci. A sigh of relief as he is able to hit from 48 yards away after the 0 for 4 last Sunday.
Well, this is the first time that Biasucci's had a real struggle throughout the course of his career. And so this may well be what you're looking at here, the biggest kick of Biasucci's career, because it gets him back on track. The guys are over there. They'll be patting him, telling him good job. And now he's back on the team. Probably nobody talked to him all week.
And a nice job by Ron Stark, the holder, in putting that high snap down.
Well, it has to be a 3-man operation, snap, hold, and kick, and Colts executed. Wind up 3-3 here at the half, outplayed by the Dolphins, but in good shape. Coach Meyer's got to feel really good about his chances now.
3 seconds remaining of the half. Mark Logan goes back as the deep man, along with Jarvis Williams.
I doubt they'll put it back there, Marv. I think he'll just kick it on the ground, and 3 seconds to go. He'll squib it down there in there and make one of these other guys field it. The Dolphins anticipating an onside kick here.
Coming up at halftime, Bob, O.J., and Will look at all the scores and highlights, plus a chat with the general manager of the San Diego Chargers, Bobby Beathard. And, well, Biasucci does go deep. So much for the Parcells strategy, and in very deliberate fashion, Jarvis Williams actually in slow motion like movement ran it back.
I forgot to tell you about the rule, Marv. When they line up in the onside prevent, you automatically kick it deep.
Okay, we'll be back right after these words from your local station.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. I'm placing you under arrest.
What for?
Because I'm a cop, and it's my job to protect innocent citizens from unscrupulous scoundrels.
So why arrest me? I'm just a politician.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you.
Man of the People in Pacific Station, Sunday, September 15th on NBC.
If you want to go to the Citrus Bowl, it'll be sold out. If you want to go to a Seminole home game, it'll be sold out. But now, Florida's 2 will bring the Seminoles to the Citrus Bowl just for you.
Hi, this is Bobby Bowden of the Florida State Seminoles. On Saturday, October the 12th, the Seminoles return to Orlando to play Virginia Tech Hokies at the Florida Citrus Bowl.
Join Florida's 2 WESH-TV at the Citrus Bowl October 12th for great college football action.
Harding, old money. Nice guy. Bogosian, pharmaceuticals, shoots in the low 80s. That's Vanderpool, oil, good backhand.
Who's that?
Turpin, bazillionaire.
What's he like?
He's smart.
Stop by Jimmy Bryan Lexus and see how smart driving an LS400 can be.
The weather with Marty Stebbins tonight on 2 News.
Okay, Bob Costas along with Will and O.J. Let's go right to the scoreboard, and we'll get comments from these esteemed gentlemen momentarily. Buffalo with the lead at home over Pittsburgh by a score of 24-10. This one is late in the second quarter, and Jim Kelly is having a field day. He had the tremendous totals last week against Miami. There's Bruce Smith up in the press box, still out with that knee injury sustained early in the preseason. Don't know for sure when he'll be back. The offense, though, clicking for Buffalo. Here's Lofton beating Woodson 53 yards up top for the touchdown, and a 10-0 lead at that point because Scott Norwood had hit a 50-yard field goal. Don Beebe then became the favored target of Kelly. He would catch 2 touchdown passes. The speedster gathers this one in between 2 defenders, 34 yards. This one will cover 14 out of the shotgun. Kelly has operated almost exclusively from the spread formation in this first half. 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Beebe. Barry Foster did have a 56-yard touchdown run from scrimmage for the Steelers, but they trailed by 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. Juice?
You know, this is a number, I think, the best all-around offense in football going against last year's #1 rated defense. I'm a little surprised at the ease in which the Bills are walking through Pittsburgh, but this, in a way, could be a blessing for Pittsburgh because it's forcing Pittsburgh to open up their game, and Bubby Brister's throwing the ball. They've scored in the second quarter, and I think if they're going to be a serious challenge to go to the playoffs in the Super Bowl, they're going to have to open up their offense, and today they're going to get a lot of practice trying to catch Buffalo.
All right, back to the scoreboard. Last week, the Rams were atrocious in losing at home to Phoenix. The Giants won a Monday night game against San Francisco. Halftime at the Meadowlands, the Rams with a 4-point lead at 10-6. Phoenix, how about this juggernaut known as the Phoenix Cardinals? 4-0 in the preseason.
Wait.
Yeah. I'm detailing the whole thing here.
Let me tell you something. I wouldn't mind if he knew what he was talking about, but you and I know he knows nothing.
His underdog pick of the week 2 weeks in a row. It's obvious that he was trying to be funny. He's been dogging Phoenix for the last 2 years. He was trying to be funny the first week, and all of a sudden now he looks like he's going to be 2-0.
Any franchise under the direction of Bill Bidwell is okay with me. And Phoenix leading by a score of 16-7 in the second quarter. Tom Tupa filling in so ably for the injured Tim Rosenbaugh with a 51-yard touchdown pass to Johnny Johnson in this one. They were up 16-0 until Thomas Sanders scored from 3 yards out for the Eagles late in that second quarter. The numbers on Jim McMahon, 5 of 12 for 53 yards in the first half. Chicago and Tampa, they've just gone half at Tampa Bay, and the Buccaneers have made it close. They trail by a point at home, 14-13. Indianapolis and Miami, the game some of you are watching. This one is even up at 3 apiece. And Will, an interesting aspect in this game, Mark Higgs, the 4th-year man out of Kentucky, who up until now has pretty much been a journeyman guy. He gets 146 yards last week in the loss against Buffalo. Unofficially, we've got him at 16 carries for 59 yards in the first half. So Don Shula has found somebody, at least in the first couple of weeks, to hold the fort till Sammy Smith comes back.
Well, and I think it shows you how good the Miami offensive line is. You know, Higgs, I think, has been with 4 different teams, so I don't want to say anything against him, but he's certainly not a great back when you passed around that much. So, but I think they can run the ball well, and of course, it's a key game for the Colts and Ron Meyer, because they're lucky they're not down by about 20 points right now, and he's got a shot at staying in the game.
Believe it or not, the New Orleans Saints have never been 2-0. They've never won the first 2 games in a regular season in their history. They're leading at Kansas City by a score of 17-0. Could go to 2-0. Bobby Hebert has a couple of touchdown passes in this one. Atlanta has a 10-7 lead at home over the Vikings halftime in that one. Cleveland and New England, the game some of you are watching, the Browns on the Kozar touchdown pass to Leroy Horde with the 7-0 lead at the half. And Detroit, with Barry Sanders back after missing last week with a rib injury, he had a 4-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. They lead at home at the Silverdome over the Packers, 10-7. Later today, many of... What are you pointing? He's pointing at something. Tell me.
No, my Pittsburgh team got a fumble. I thought they were going to pick it up and run it in.
Pay no attention to Will. He just has these periodic outbursts. We're back with more at halftime. We'll talk with Bobby Beathard, the GM of the San Diego Chargers, after this.
Monday, it's an NBC special preview when the Fresh Prince shakes up the new season with Then you've heard about them all summer. Now watch Mark and Brian do whatever it takes to sing and dance with the Temptations. Mark and Brian, after an all-new Fresh Prince, previewing Monday on NBC.
Watch carefully. What you are about to see is fast, very fast. When the Pennzoil Special is racing at 230 miles per hour at Indy, its engine needs all the protection it can get. And that's what it gets with Pennzoil. The same straight-off-the-shelf Pennzoil quality that goes in your car. On the road or on the racetrack, nothing performs like Pennzoil, because nothing protects like Pennzoil.
Pennzoil, ever since America learned to drive.
Listen to Magic 107.7 FM for 2 news updates throughout the day.
Welcome back to our NFL Live studios in New York. Throughout the year, one segment of the halftime report will feature an interview with a newsmaker from around the NFL. Now, our doubleheader game that most of you will see at 4 o'clock Eastern time today has the Chargers at Candlestick against the 49ers. This has been a busy couple of weeks for Chargers head coach Dan Henning and GM Bobby Beathard. There was the trade of unhappy Pro Bowl lineman Lee Williams to Houston. Marion Butts, second leading rusher in the AFC last year, was a holdout for almost all of the preseason. Last year's starting quarterback, Billy Joe Tolliver, lost his job to untested John Freese and then was subsequently traded to Atlanta. Then this past Tuesday, Henning fired his offensive coordinator, Ted Tollner, and assumed those responsibilities for himself. Joining us now from San Francisco is former NBC insider, now GM of the Chargers, Bobby Beathard. Bobby, this club has been 6-10, 3 consecutive years. Dan Henning has made some moves which could be called controversial. Is he on thin ice himself?
Well, I think Dan knows his position, and that's been written about several times here in San Diego. But I think Dan, he's a bright guy. He knows what it's like to be an NFL coach and not win. So I think he's a heck of a coach. We're trying to give him all the support we can right now. And with all the distractions, or would seem like distractions, I think Dan's held the squad's attention quite well, and probably had our best week coming into this 49er game.
Is it fair to say, though, that this is a make-or-break year for him, that another 6-10 or a 7-9 would put him in jeopardy?
I think it's more how we play. If we don't play hard, and if we play well and lose close games, and it looks like we've made progress, I think then after the season we'll evaluate the whole situation and see then. I think it's too early to say.
The Cowboys supposedly had made an overture to Ted Tollner to be their offensive coordinator, so his duties were upgraded before this year. Then after the first game, Dan has a change of heart. Tollner is fired. Were you uneasy with the way that situation came down, even though you supported Henning's right to make the move?
Well, I think it was uneasy for everybody around here. I went to school with Ted, and this should not be a black mark on Ted Tollner's coaching. He's a terrific coach, a dedicated coach, and I think he has a bright future in this league. What happened, I kind of compared it with Would you ever see Joe Gibbs giving up the offense to one of his assistant coaches? That just wouldn't happen because Joe feels comfortable in there with him. He's a hands-on coach. Well, Dan's very much like that. And he kind of divorced himself from the offense and was kind of an overseer. And I don't think it sat right with Dan. I don't think he felt comfortable. And there was a little bit of philosophical difference between Ted and Dan. It wasn't the matter of one's a good coach and one isn't.
Obviously, Billy Joe Tolliver was not your guy. You didn't draft him. John Freese was a draft choice of yours. You preferred, as a talent evaluator, Freese over Tolliver. So Tolliver is demoted and then dealt. But the question is, after getting a fourth-round pick from Atlanta that could be upgraded depending upon how he plays to a third, do you second-guess yourself for maybe making the deal too quickly? Because in week 1, Cunningham goes down, Craig goes down, and guys like Pat Ryan and Rusty Hilger get signed. If you'd held Tolliver back a while, it seems like his value would have jumped.
Well, it was the feeling of the staff that if this happened, if John Freese did win the quarterback battle, then Billy would not be the type of guy to stay around in a backup role. And I don't mean that a knock against Billy. He's a very competitive kid, a tough kid. But that was a decision made before that even happened. And actually, it's a fifth-round choice that could be a fourth. They don't have a fifth right now, so it's a fourth. But when they get their fifth, we'll get a fifth for him. It was we put ourselves in a precarious position. John not having much experience, Bob Galliano, a veteran, behind him. So we're training Jeff Graham on the developmental. So we hope in time that we are injury-free and come back with 3 quarterbacks that can win games for us. But right now, we're in a pretty tough position.
Bobby, thanks a lot. Good to talk with you again. It's a tough road, starting with San Francisco, then 5 of your first 7 on the road. It won't be easy. Bobby Beathard, the GM of the San Diego Chargers. And we'll continue here at halftime right after this.
Welcome back to Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. The Dolphins and the Colts are tied at 3 on a couple of 48-yard field goals. Marv Albert with Bill Parcells. Well, for the Colts, you look at the stats and you think they'd be completely out of this game, yet it is a 3-3 at the half. Indianapolis only 81 total yards in the first half, so I would think that Ron Meyer has to be delighted to come away with the tie at halftime.
Well, without question, Marv, the Colts were pinned down their first 5 possessions. They did virtually nothing, and they come out there 3-3 at the half with the Dolphins on the road. He's got to be very happy about it. On the other hand, Coach Shula in the scoring zone 3 times in the first half, 2 turnovers. He's probably talking to his team in a little different language.
How about the quarterbacks? George, 9 for 17, did not get rolling till late in the second quarter, only 56 yards, sacked twice. Marino, 7 for 11, 65 yards, intercepted once, and he was sacked 2 times. Most unusual to see that happen to the Dolphins.
Well, the only difference there is Marino did throw that tipped interception there in the scoring zone. George did not make the big mistake when he was pinned back. And it just shows his maturation as a quarterback in his second year. Last year, he probably would have panicked a little, tried to stick a couple of those throws in there against the Dolphins' zone defense. This year, he ran the ball on second down, took a sack, threw a couple balls away, and did a good job not making the big mistake.
And there is Jeff George in his second year out of Illinois. Look at the halftime statistics. And you see time of possession well in favor of Miami, 17 minutes, 16 seconds. The Colts did have the ball for a reasonable degree of time late in the second quarter, which led to the 48-yard field goal by Dean Biasucci. But 106 total yards for Miami, 81 for Indianapolis. And here is Biasucci kicking it off. Logan and Crayer are back deep. And Aaron Craver will stay right there. So they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Last Sunday, Miami lost in Buffalo 35-31 in a shootout. Dan Marino, though, had a very impressive day. Threw 3 touchdowns, not intercepted. One of the TDs on a successful flea flicker, celebrating his new contract extension. And now Marino and the Dolphins open up the third quarter. First down from the 20-yard line. The running backs are Mark Higgs and Tony Page. Incomplete. intended for Page, covered by Renisick and McDonald.
Marino working a little bit on Quintus McDonald. You know, he's substituting for the starter, Chip Banks, who's out with an injury. And Coach Shula told us that they were going to try to attack over there just a little bit, running. The first half, they did it fairly successfully. And, of course, with the throwing game also. So McDonald's got a big job today.
2nd and 10 at the 20.
Colts in their 4-man defensive line in a long yardage situation.
And it is Higgs on the inside handoff. Again running well for the first down. Baylor and Daniel made the stop on Higgs, who now has gone for 72 yards on 17 carries.
Well, what happens is they get Page leading through there on the defensive back, and John Baylor, and it's a mismatch physically, and Higgs is able to split the draw there for first down.
Miami from their 35. Opening minute of play, 3rd quarter. The game is tied at 3. Off the play fake. Marino through the hands of Higgs. Incomplete.
You know, that's about the 4th or 5th ball that the Miami receivers have batted up in the air. When you throw the ball over the middle, this is a little check down here off the play action. He's going to his last choice. Higgs bats it up in the air. You know, half the time that's an interception, Mark.
On the subject of Miami receivers, they started up this week by trading away their #1 draft pick, the Lightning, Quick Randall the Thrill Hill, out of the University of Miami. Don Shula told us that going into the draft, the Dolphins wanted defensive help, but the quality was not there, so they went for Hill. Here's Marino, and he completes to Page. But Shula said Hill turned out to be their 5th best receiver and was not ready, so they received the #1 draft pick in exchange from Phoenix and hope to put that or transform that into a defensive player. A lot of rumors floating around this week. They could do it this year, or they may make the deal next year, but they have the extra #1.
Well, he said they tried to trade up. They tried to trade down. They couldn't do it. They wound up with the receiver, but now they're back to square one. They're committed to helping the defense with that choice whenever it is.
It's a 3rd down and 3 at the 42. Marino throwing on the run, intended for Jensen. Jeff Herrod providing the coverage.
Well, this is the situation where Jensen is used as the primary guy. Here you see him in what the Dolphins call their spread. He's one-on-one with Jeff Herrod, gives him a little wiggle, gets underneath, but Herrod kind of gets between Marino and Jensen, and I don't think he deflected, but the body posture affected Jensen's vision and couldn't come up with the reception.
The Dolphins heard it from the crowd off that series. Another good punt by Roby. And it prevents the run back by Verdun. That will go as a 47-yard punt.
Introducing a car so intelligently engineered, its elegance and grace can be measured along these lines or graded on a curve. The 1992 Oldsmobile 88 Royale, beautifully redefined and nimble enough to prove that a straight line isn't always the best way to get from point A to point B. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
When you've got a tough case of athlete's foot, the itching, the cracking, the burning, you want a medicine that acts tough. Tough-Actin Tenactin. Clinically proven Tenactin cures even the tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. Get Tough-Actin Tenactin.
The temperature never drops below Xerex. That's very important to remember, especially at a time like this, when it's very deserted and very cold. Ah, you did remember Xerex Antifreeze. The temperature never drops below Xerex.
NBC Premiere Week starts next Sunday with 2 of TV's greatest. He's a con man's con man who just scammed his way into public office.
When you have City Councilman Jim Doyle on your side, you definitely have someone on your side.
James Garner's a man of the people, and Robert Guillaume's a hard-boiled cop with a soft-boiled partner.
You have very, very kind eyes. Anybody ever tell you that? Nobody with that much facial hair.
Pacific Station, after Man of the People, premieres next Sunday starting at 8/7 Central on NBC.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By Right Guard Sports Stick, anything less would be uncivilized. By Xerex Antifreeze Coolant, the temperature never drops below Xerex. And by Hertz, we never forget who made us #1. We're Hertz, we're America's wheels.
Well, the Indianapolis Colts in their last drive gained 46 yards, surpassing what they had done up until that. But here's Dickerson stiff-arming his way out of bounds, followed by the free safety, Lewis Oliver. This has not been, to this point, one of the thrillers of the season. The Colts and the Dolphins tied at 3, a 48-yard field goal by Biasucci. Bauman also hit from 48. That was originally called a 47-yard field goal, but up a yard. So on a pair of 48-yard field goals, we're tied at 3 with 2 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Randy Dixon, who started at right guard, is now out for the game because of the calf injury. Brian Baldinger has been in at that position. Second down and 2 from the 19. Brooks, number 80, in motion. And again, the handoff to Dickerson, and he is stopped. Eric Dickerson stopped on the play. Let's check out the Hertz 10-minute ticker. Buffalo leading Pittsburgh 24-10 at halftime. Your Giants trailing the Rams 10-6. Rams looking for their first win. Phoenix over Philadelphia. Chicago by 1 over Tampa Bay. New Orleans maintaining the big lead on Kansas City. Atlanta in front of Minnesota. Cleveland leading New England. And, Bill, Detroit with a 17-7 edge on your upset special selection of the Green Bay Packers. Third down and 2. George with a sidearm toss incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Kerry Cash, a rookie from the University of Texas. He was covered by Jarvis Williams.
Well, the Dolphins elected to blitz George. I think that may be the first time today they've done that in that situation. And, of course, George has a good route on it. It's a crossing route, running away from the safety. But Williams comes over and makes a good play. Knocks the ball loose from Cash.
Ron Stark has had an outstanding day, averaging just under 50 yards per punt. Scott Miller is the deep man. This one angled, hit on the short side. So the Dolphins will take over a 41-yard punt by Stark. We'll be back in a moment.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sports Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
It's a car born of intelligent engineering. It's 100,000 ideas fused into one. It's responsive, innovative, refined. It's a driver's side airbag and anti-lock brakes. Introducing the all-new 88 Royale LS. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Would you just look at what we get from America's soil and water? Get your hands on protecting our future. We owe it to our children.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Call us.
The 49ers. The Chargers. A Wild West showdown. Next.
Well, that is coming up next. The San Diego Chargers and the San Francisco 49ers. We'll see Marion Butts leading the charge. San Diego facing the 49ers at Candlestick in San Francisco. Another tough assignment for one John Freeze.
Without question, going from Pittsburgh to San Francisco, it's a long trip.
Miami first down at the 39. We're tied at 3 as Marino goes incomplete, intended for Clayton Scott Radisick on the coverage. This a game to give you an idea of how it's gone, and we're only early third quarter that has already seen 9 punts, 6 for Stark, 3 for Roby.
Well, you know, Marv, I know a lot of the fans aren't too interested in the punting game, but I kind of think there's something artistic about that from time to time. Especially when it's a left footer. You know, the ball goes the other way than what we used to see.
Now, how would you practice against a left-footed punter?
Well, we would use Ray Hanley, the current head coach of the Giants, who was a left-footed punter, to simulate the opponent's punter whenever he played the Colts.
So that's why he got the head coaching job.
Yeah, he could punt.
Higgs breaking tackles, another nifty run for the first down. Good and Ball combining on the stump. He picked up 11.
Well, obviously the draw play on 2nd and 10 is in the Miami game plan. It's about the 4th time they've run it. They've all been to Higgs, and it just seems like the #1 play selection for Miami in that situation. Seems like the Colts would catch on.
Well, Sam Clancy shaken up on that play. He came in with an injured ankle, and Sam is down. They're checking him out. We'll take a timeout back after this.
Introducing a car so intelligently engineered, its elegance and grace can be measured along these lines or graded on a curve. The 1992 Oldsmobile 88 Royale, beautifully redefined and nimble enough to prove that a straight line isn't always the best way to get from point A to point B. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
We built this business.
I hit the brakes. You know they're anti-lock brakes. It was close, but we stopped in time.
Build this business.
Every year they plant new trees. Dad says they make good things from trees.
After my accident, they advanced my insurance benefits and built me a ramp and got me back on my feet.
We built this business to build your dreams.
You want to rent a car, but your money's tight? Give Hertz a call and they'll treat you right. Hertz, freedom rates. Put Hertz behind you all the way. Hertz, freedom rates.
For as little as $19 a day.
3 miles all the way. Free mileage all across the USA with Hertz, freedom rates. Now everyone can drive America's wheels. Hertz, we're America's wheels.
Next Saturday, 3-time Tour de France winner Greg LeMond takes on the world's best in the crown jewel of cycling, the World Cycling Championships on NBC.
Number 76, Sam Clancy, went down a moment ago. Looks to be all right. Sam in his 8th year out of Pittsburgh. He is the Colts' designated pass rusher. Came up with a sack earlier in the day. It's a first down at midfield. And Higgs not able to make the cut. Looked to be some miscommunication there. Dwayne Bickett covering up.
Well, I think Marino was running what they call a check with me play. Come up, look at the defense, and run the same play either right or left, depending on what the defense gives you. And they ran it right into Bickett, which is probably not the smartest place to run against the Colts.
Lost 2. It's a 2nd and 12. Wayne Bickett had an injury hit preseason, playing only 2 quarters during the exhibition campaign, but last week 13 tackles, 2 sacks against New England. 2nd and 12. Off the fake. Tony Page has a first down. Beautiful fake by Marino.
Well, they faked that little counter tray there and came back. Here you see Page lined up right on the wing here. Marino's going to make a little counter fake right here and then take Page down the seam hold these linebackers up in here and hit Page on the seam pattern.
And that went for 21 yards. First down at the Indianapolis 32. Here's Higgs into a big crowd.
Well, Pickett chased that one down from the backside now, and they got to stop him from a free pursuit lane. I know we were always looking for this when Lawrence Taylor would chase the plays down. Here you see Pickett on the right side, number 50, chasing it down, no blocker on him. Higgs tries the cutback. He got no chance. Nice play by Pickett, head in front. Sometimes you can get a fumble that way, too. If you strip, the guy doesn't see you coming.
And Pickett at 6'5", towering over the 5'7" Mark Higgs. Higgs says, though, he's 5'7" and 3/4. It should be.
Yeah, they always put that 3/4 or half on there.
Second down and 9. Higgs on the slant with running room. Pushed out by Michael Ball, but it sets up a 1st and goal off a 24-yard run.
Well, Marv, it's the same thing. It's the 5th time on 2nd and long the Dolphins have run the draw. This time it was against the Colts nickel defense, and every time they've broken it. So that must have been their thinking going into the game.
21 carries, 104 yards. Will Sammy Smith have trouble cracking back into this lineup?
He keeps this up, he will.
1st and goal at the 7 in a 3-3 game. Higgs, or rather Craver, for the touchdown. Aaron Craver, the rookie from Fresno State, able to run it in. Craver coughed one up, so that had to feel good. Here's Charlie Bauman with the extra point. So the Miami Dolphins have taken a 10-3 lead on the Indianapolis Colts.
Here you see Sims pulling to the left. Page leaks through, trying to pick off the backer. Sweep. Craver around the corner. Good kick out by Sims. Touchdown. Here's Sims pulling out. He's going to block the force man right here. Page through on the linebacker. Mason it here. Sweep. Touchdown to Craver.
7 plays, 60 yards in 3 minutes and 21 seconds as Craver is able to bring it home with 8:13 remaining in this 3rd quarter.
Well, that might make up for that fumble he had there in the first half, Marv. I'm sure he feels a lot better now.
And there's Keith Sims, who came up with the key block. Keith Sims, in his 2nd year out of Iowa State, had a superb rookie season. Sims and Webb, tremendous rookie tandem for the Miami Dolphins.
Those two guys are probably the 2 most responsible guys for the reemergence of the Dolphin running game.
All right, Clarence Verdun going to work. Look out, Verdun with a terrific return across the 45-yard line. He went 37 yards. Michael Magruder able to chase him down.
Well, this is Verdun, I think, on a little improvision. I think the return is set up here on the right side. Verdun doesn't like what he sees, so he just dips it. Yeah, it's definitely, they're trying to kick out the 3 there. He doesn't see what he likes, so he just dips to the backside of the return and makes a big gain, almost out to midfield.
And a first down at the 46. Bentley is again split out to the left side. The Colts now trail the Dolphins 10-3. And George able to complete to Dickerson, but it's a short pickup. Stopped by John Offerdahl.
Well, it's going to take a lot of those kind of passes to get your team down the field. The chances of executing those 2- and 3-yard passes with no run after the catch and getting in the end zone are very minimal. But as George said, he is going to try to get the ball to Dickerson running and throwing today, and we're witnessing that. Big series for the Colts, though.
It's the best start of field position for the Colts all day. That off the kickoff return by Verdun. Dickerson stopped. They've done a nice job on Eric Dickerson. Offerdahl was right there.
Well, he's only had one crease up the middle the whole game, and the Miami defense is holding pretty well in there. I don't know whether it's the new guys in the offensive line of the Colts or what's going on, but they sure haven't pushed Miami very far on the straight ahead stuff.
Well, Detroit now leading Green Bay, Bill, 20-7. The Parcells.
Plenty of time left.
Yeah, upset special going astray. It's a 3rd down and 4 at the Miami 48. 6.5 left in the 3rd. George throwing across the field and short of a 1st down. He had Jesse Hester, but he was held away from the marker.
Well, this could bring up a coach's decision right here.
Well, wait a moment. Let's see where they spot the ball. They are calling for the yardsticks. It is very close.
I think, Marv, if it's the 4th down at this point in time in the game, 10-3 lead, try to get a little momentum back. You know me, I might take the chance right here. It's under a foot. All right.
What you think about that spot?
I don't know. I think they might have put that a little bit further than he really admits. I didn't see the ball get to the 1st down marker there, Marv. I think he's a little short.
Yes, it looked like he received the benefit of the doubt. Dolphins mildly upset on the sideline. A couple of complaints, but it is a 1st down at the Miami 44 as we come up on 6 minutes left in the 3rd. Here's George, and it's broken up. Intended for Brooks. Oliver got a piece of it.
Well, George is running a little bit of the run-and-shoot offense here. He's sprinting to the weak side and then trying to throw back to the strong side. Now, the offensive coordinator, Leon Burnett, is the former head coach at Purdue. They ran that run-and-shoot. So in the Colt offense, you see some elements of the run-and-shoot from time to time.
Leon Burnett spent 5 years as the head coach at Purdue. This is 5th with the Colts. First as offensive coordinator, Eric Dickerson. Well, Dickerson, to this point, 13 carries and 49 yards. So they have held him in check.
Well, here it seems to be 2nd down equals the draw this week. Doesn't matter who's got the ball, Marv. You see Bentley leading through on Offerdahl. Lineman pushing, but not too well. Don't make that play go as well as Miami had.
3rd down and 4 at the Miami 38. And George calls for a timeout. Jeff George checking it over and calling for time. We'll be back right after this.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. On a frozen Sunday in 1973, Mike Montler, Reggie McKenzie, Joe DeLamalure, Dave Foley, and Donnie Green made history. While all eyes focused on O.J. Simpson, the Bills' offensive line helped reach an incredible milestone. As individuals, each man shared in the first 2,000-yard season. Together as teammates, they were the electric company. They turned on the juice and made the Bills the best they can be.
Most of my friends don't know what they're going to do after graduation, but I've already locked in guaranteed skill training in the Army. Qualify now and you can reserve even the Army's most sought-after technical training up to 12 months in advance through the Army's delayed entry program. Sure, being a soldier won't be easy, but then nothing worth having ever is.
Intelligent engineering is routinely put to the test at Oldsmobile. And here's the result. Of all the Cutlass Sierras ever sold in the last 10 years, we can say 96% are still on the road. Safely say, Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
This is an Erie update.
Item. Bigfoot eats out of our trash. We got footprints.
Stay tuned from Erie, Indiana.
This is Bob Costas in New York and at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Here's touchdown pass number 4 for Jim Kelly to his third different receiver, 15 yards to Andre Reed. Earlier, he hit James Lofton, and Don Beebe has caught 2. In the third, Buffalo by 2 TDs, 31-17 over the Steelers. Back to Marvin Bill.
Thank you, Bob. 5:21 remaining in the third quarter here in Miami. The Dolphins 10 and the Colts 3. Third down and 4 for Indianapolis. And the completion to Bentley for a first down. Albert Bentley, a question mark coming into today with a shoulder separation, able to come up with his 6th catch of the day.
Well, there's my guy, Albert Bentley, my satellite player. The Colts are doing something very smart here. They're putting the 3 best receivers they have available for this game on one side. That limits Georgia's vision to that side. He's reading 1, 2, 3. This time he lets it go to Bentley. With Hester and Brooks there, it's a good 3-man combination to work against the Dolphins.
George looking at a first down from the Miami 29. The lone deep back is Dickerson. He is bottled up once again.
Well, they just cannot get any push on the Miami defensive end. If you want to run the ball off tackle, your offensive tackles have got to get the defensive ends moving backwards. And that allows Dickerson to get the 2-way cut, where it be straight at the point of attack, back inside, or sprint it to the outside. But you got to give him a chance to see daylight to get through, and that's just not happening right now for the Colts.
This is the 8th play of the drive. Brooks to the left for Dan Wright. 2nd down and 8 at the 27th. George looking right, changed his mind. Here's Dickerson. Gets out near the 20-yard line, stopped by the free safety, Lewis Oliver.
Well, that's going to bring up a 3rd and short here, Marv. Here come their jumbo people in.
Gain of 7 yards. 3rd and 1.
Schultz is in. Perkins is in. Baldinger.
It is a 3rd and less than a yard. With 3:15 left in the 3rd, and the Dolphins leading the Colts by the score of 10-3. Here's Dickerson trying to follow Perkins. Stiff arms his way for the first down. Bruce Perkins, a 2nd-year player out of Arizona State, throwing the block. Bestie Jackson able to wrestle Eric Dickerson out of bounds.
Well, that's the same exact play Miami just ran with Craver for the touchdown. You'll see the left guard pull here. He'll kick out the cornerback on the short yardage, and the fullback leads through on the linebacker. Same play that Miami just ran for the touchdown. We used to call it Ride 39, Marv.
I was going to point that out myself.
Thank you.
This the third down that the Colts have converted on this drive. A first down at the 13. Now Hester lined up in the slot right. George for Dickerson, who was able to handle that bullet out of the flat, stopped by Cox.
This was a shot here where George was going to run, pump the receiver, and throw it deep into the end zone for the touchdown. Okay? But there was so much pressure on him, he had to dump it to Dickerson after that first pump. But George was going for the end zone on that play if he had a chance.
It is a 2nd down and 3. Down at the 7th. George now 14 for 24, but only 87 yards. Brooks split to the right. Verdun up top on the left. Dickerson slipped. Lost his balance.
Well, you're not allowed to slip down here in the scoring zone. We used to have a rule on the Giants, Marv. No slipping. Especially with the defensive backs. You know, you can live with a running back slipping, but when those defensive backs slip.
Well, as Dickerson went down, you see Ron Meyer frustrated. I have a feeling he has the same rule in his playbook.
No slipping allowed.
It is a 3rd down and 3. 12th play of the drive. The drive that began with 8 minutes remaining in the quarter. We're down to 1 minute left in the 3rd. Play action. George with a shovel pass for Bentley. They have picked up the 1st down. It was kept out of the end zone by Oliver.
Well, there you see Bentley coming underneath. Colts have always been a big play. Colts have always been a big play offensive team. Here you see Bentley right here. They're going to fake it to Dickerson. Bentley's going to come underneath in the flat. George is going to roll with him, throw it to Bentley.
And Bentley, as you saw, shaken up. He came in with the shoulder problem. Bentley took the hit right here.
Good choice of plays. Crossing the backs on the goal line is a typical offensive strategy for a lot of teams. They expect man-to-man defense. The linebackers have the backs. They cross the backs. The linebackers run together. Here you see it again. Bentley here. Fake the sweep to Dickerson. Bring Bentley underneath into the flat. George faking the sweep. Rolling with Bentley. Dumping it to him right here. Good play on the goal line. Trying to screw up these guys.
Is that football terminology, Bill? Screw up?
Confused.
I see. Meanwhile, Bentley is hurt and is holding his knee. He picked up the 1st down. When we resume, it'll be a 1st and goal at the 2. It has been a good drive executed by Jeff George. 6 for 8, 34 yards in all in the 3rd quarter. Check of the Hertz 10-minute ticker. Buffalo in front of Pittsburgh. The Rams maintaining the lead on the Giants, who come off the Monday night victory against San Francisco. Chicago still in front of Tampa Bay. New Orleans now 17-3 on Kansas City. Minnesota leading Atlanta in the 4th. Cleveland now 10-0 on New England. And Detroit 20-7 over Green Bay in the 3rd. And Albert Bentley being helped off the field.
That doesn't look like a shoulder to me, Marv. That looks like something besides a shoulder.
I recall that you were interested in Bentley on behalf of the Giants a couple of years ago.
I'll tell you, Marv, 5 years ago, I tried to do everything we could when we were looking to trade for a back, in which we wound up acquiring O.J. Anderson from the Cardinals. This was the guy we really wanted, but he was just unavailable at the time, and we tried hard to at least coerce the Colts into considering it.
Coerce, huh?
But they would not. Yes, I wanted to tell you that after that screwed up that I did major in English club.
For Albert Bentley, it is his 7th year with the Colts after 2 in the USFL. He was selected in the supplemental draft back in '84. And number 23 is Anthony Johnson, who played for the injured Bentley last week against New England and came up with 11 catches for 87 yards. 2nd-round draft pick last year out of Notre Dame. And we'll see some of Anthony Johnson a little bit later on, but right now it's a goal line situation from the 2.
Well, this is where the Colts gotta get the ball in. They gotta get it in here.
And penalty markers are thrown.
Now the question here is whether it's a false start or an encroachment. Both players are applauding.
Encroachment. Number 91 of the defense, half a distance to the goal. Still 1st down.
That's the right defensive end, Jeff Cross, number 91, called on the penalty, so it will be a 1st and goal now at the 1. And the Colts go with a combination of Eric Dickerson and Bruce Perkins in the backfield. This, the 13th play of the drive, a drive that has consumed 8 minutes here in the third quarter. Perkins in front of Dickerson as they line up. Dickerson stopped. Alfred Oglesby able to get in front of Eric Dickerson.
Well, I'm telling you, this is some kind of play here by the Dolphin defense. Of course, Dickerson goes off the ground, and those linebackers behind the line and those linemen penetrating catch him right up in the air there. And, of course, when your feet are off the ground, you have no power left. They hit him, knock him straight sideways, and keep him out of the end zone.
And that's the end of the third. The Dolphins on top. 10-3. We'll be back after these words from your local station.
Pacific Station is about cops. It's a show about relationships. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you think. It's about a brilliant and handsome police detective. Yeah, and Bob's in it, too.
View this fall.
Good afternoon, Dad. Keep your hands off the fender.
You know Chevron has a 93 octane gasoline?
Is that right?
Maybe I could go fill it up.
Just to the gas station.
For even better performance, there's 93 octane Chevron Supreme with Techroline. Nothing's better at keeping valves clean.
3 hours.
Gee, Dad, you didn't want me to mix the old gas with the new gas, did you?
Chevron, we're with you all the way.
This was me with dull gray hair. I looked washed up. Then I found a whole new way to make my gray look great.
Introducing a new kind of shampoo from the makers of Just for Men Hair Care called Great Looking Gray. Great Looking Gray does more than clean and condition. It gets rid of the dullness, even yellow buildup, brings out the real silver.
What a difference it makes.
New Great Looking Gray shampoo. And for stubborn yellow, new Great Looking Gray anti-yellow treatment.
Another Home Depot certified advantage. Better selection.
Yeah, that's good. More than anybody else. I like it.
Our kitchen and bath department has an almost endless selection of brand name cabinets, countertops, sinks, and faucets to choose from.
Yeah, I like that. Tell me more.
We carry Price Pfister, the faucets with solid brass construction. For long-lasting durability and style, choose a Price Pfister, the fabulous faucet with a funny name. At Home Depot, low prices are just the beginning.
Got a consumer problem? Call Tel2, weekdays 11 to 1.
Fourth quarter underway. We pick it up. It's the Colts. Second and goal from the 1. Miami with a 10-3 lead. And George on the roll, throwing end zone and threw it away.
Well, he's trying to get the ball to Pat Beach there. It just makes a token fake there. It's not a real fool-em type play. Perkins doesn't make a good fake. They're on Dickerson. They're on Beach. He has to throw it away.
It is a third and goal. At the 1, that's the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins, Tom Olivadani, who did not have a nice week. He said the Bills executed at will last Sunday. The Miami pound machine not in evidence last week. Of course, going up against a very powerful Buffalo offensive unit, and they had some problems, and a timeout has been taken by Jeff George.
Well, you hate to see your quarterback do that. It gives the defense a little chance to discuss more things and better organize themselves, but it's better to do that than have a bad play.
And when we resume, it will be a third and goal at the 1. A check of the 10-minute ticker. Buffalo with a 31-24 lead in the third. Rams now 16-6 over the Giants.
Have to call that an upset.
And Phoenix in front of Philadelphia. The Bob Costas upset special selection. The Phoenix Cardinals trying to do it 2 straight weeks. Chicago leading Tampa Bay. New Orleans over Kansas City. Minnesota leads Atlanta in the 4th. 10-0 Cleveland. Well, the Packers making a move.
We're in range. In range.
The 15th play of the drive for Indianapolis. Dickerson looking for the end zone, but he is stopped. John Offerdahl came up with the big play. What do you do here? It's a 4th and goal from the 40. You go for the 3?
Definitely the field goal. If it was on the 1-foot line, that's a different story, Mark, but the field goal's the percentage. Now there's that same ride 39 again that both the Dolphins and the Colts have in their game plan this week.
So Biasucci will come on. Earlier hit from 48. This is a 22-yard attempt. Remember, he was 0 for 4 last week. That includes one that was blocked. The kick from straight away from 22, and it is right through. So Biasucci has connected on 2 out of 2. The Colts now pull within 4. We'll be back in a moment.
Once again, Buick is raising the banner for quality in America. Introducing the 1992 LeSabre with a higher level of power, safety, security, and convenience. This new LeSabre is going to be one tough act to follow. LeSabre for 1992 from Buick.
In making an artistic statement, one's personal aroma shouldn't do the talking. So I use Right Guard Sports Stick with maximum protection. A true artiste should be known for inspiration, not perspiration. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. By Coors Light, the Silver Bullet is the right beer now. By Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. And by ITT Corporation, building people's dreams.
Welcome back to Miami. Marv Albert with the rookie color commentator, Bill Parcells. And a 16-play drive by the Colts that went over 9 minutes, leading to 3 points. They had to settle for the field goal, and it's 10-6 Miami. The kickoff, and Logan lets it bounce out of bounds.
Okay, here's the touchdown attempt by the Colts. You see the left guard pull it, trying to kick out this guy right here. This man right here is assigned to the linebacker. Sweet play around the corner. Too much Dolphin pursuit. Can't sustain the blocks. Have to settle for the field goal. Good crisp tackle by John Offerdahl also.
Couple of strong plays on that last drive defensively by John Offerdahl. Miami from the 35. With a minute gone by in the 4th. Marino fires one, and it is incomplete. Scooped up by Mark Clayton, covered by Eugene Daniel. We're set for another update. Let's go to New York. Here's Bob Costas.
Marv, wild one in Buffalo. The Steelers once down 31-10, now back within a touchdown. Here's the veteran linebacker Brian Hinkle intercepting a Jim Kelly pass, bringing it back 57 yards for a TD. Kelly has thrown for 4 scores, but his team leads by only 31-24. And now, as I throw it back to you, the Steelers are attempting a field goal, and they just hit it. So it's 31-27. Pittsburgh within 4. Marv?
All right, Bob, so Buffalo back-to-back with shootouts last week against Miami and this week against Pittsburgh. Mark Higgs with a short pickup. Frank Giannetti, the rookie from Penn State, drawing the starting assignment at nose tackle, made the stop. Higgs has got 107 yards on 22 carries. There's Giannetti, starting with Tony Siragusa out with a sprained knee. Travis Davis bothered by a jammed toe, making it from the developmental squad to a starting role, a 10th round draft pick out of Penn State. It's a 3rd down and 7 from the 38.
Colts in a 3-2 look this time, Marv, on long yardage.
And Marino stepping up. Here's Banks. Fred Banks going for 20 yards. Hit down by the free safety, Mike Pryor.
Here you see Banks, man-to-man underneath. On the crossing route. Pickett on the rush. Loses the defender. Marino gets it to him.
And off the 20-yard reception, it's a 1st down at the 42. 2.5 gone by in the 4th. Here's Higgs, and he's tripped up.
On that last 3rd down, you know, the Dolphins were crossing those 2 inside slot receivers, and the design of the play is to lose the man-to-man defenders. And sure enough, they caught, you know, the Dolphins in the right defense were able to pick each other up.
Is that a legal play?
That is a legal play, yes.
Tony Martin now flanked to the left side for the 2nd down and 9. And Marino off the roll has Page, and he looks to be short of the 1st down. Jeff Harrod and Chris Good combining on the stop.
Here you see Clayton. He's on the route, coming across. He's not doing anything illegal. He's just driving his defender across into the other defender. He has the right to run the route.
And Mark Clayton has not come up with a reception to this point. Came back strong last week after missing the last 3 preseason games with an injured neck. It's a 3rd down and 1. Higgs battling his way, gunning for the 1st down. John Hand on the stop of the 5'7" Mark Higgs.
I think he's going to be short, Marv, and I think Coach Shula's already decided that he's going for it. This is one of the helter-skelter times the offensive coordinator doesn't know exactly where the head coach wants to go. Get the right people in the game, get the right play called. Are we going to kick a field goal? What are we going to do? Puts a lot of pressure on the coaches in this situation.
It is 4th and about a yard. Miami with a 10-6 lead on Indianapolis. Higgs. And it appears from our angle that he did pick it up, although the Colts do not think so. Jeff Harrod able to fill the hole to make the stop. And it depends where the ball is marked. The Colts providing the indication that he was stopped.
Well, if that's the case, the Colts just made the biggest defensive play of the game for themselves. After coming off that field goal, now they got a chance, 10:32 to go.
And they are calling for the yardsticks. Here's the reaction off that carry by Higgs.
Coach Shula's trying to help him over there, Marv.
And then Ron Meyer looking from the other point of view. But it is a Miami 1st down. Crowd of 51,155. A disappointing opening day crowd here at Joe Robbie. Capacity 73,000. They rarely have sold out for the the early season games and fell way short here this afternoon. First down at the 32 for the Dolphins. Play action, and Marino goes short range to Page. Tony Page stopped by the combination of Radisic and Harrod, and for Page, that is his 5th catch of the day.
Well, now the whole philosophy of the Colt defense has to change here. Miami's in field goal range. You almost have to concede the field goal, knowing that that's going to put you down by 7, but you cannot give the Dolphins the touchdown here because the time is going to be a factor in the game if you do.
Clayton is to the left, Duper right. 2nd and 1 down at the Indianapolis 23-yard line. Higgs, and he is stopped back behind the line. A good surge on a second effort. Wayne Pickett credited with the tackle. Indianapolis has done a nice job defensively. Tough to get a feel for what happened last week against a weak New England team, but in limiting a conservative Patriot offense to 206 yards, the Colts, Bill, have actually emerged as the #1 defensive unit. For what that's worth, at this point of the AFC, a dubious distinction under the circumstances.
Well, they got a couple turnovers today in key situations, too, and that always helps the momentum of your defense.
It's 3rd and inches. Now Farrell Edmonds, the tight end, lined up at the wing position. Higgs has the first down. Getting to the 21.
They just decided to run wide on that 3rd one. They've been sticking it up inside. Figured the Colts would be pinching in there. Got them all walled inside. You see Page coming here. Higgs turns it up. Good choice by Higgs. He might have gotten to the corner there, but he also would have created the possibility for the Colts to run them down without the first down, too.
Miami first down at the Indianapolis 21. 8:25 remaining in the 4th quarter. The rookie Craver. So Miami keeping it on the ground. That's their 30th rush of the day. Craver picked up 4. It'll be a 2nd down and 6 at the 17.
Well, this is a chance to get Craver a few carries, and also, more importantly, Coach Shula is relieving Higgs a little, keep the speed fresh in his legs for the last part of the game, and also get your young big back in the game in a critical situation.
Higgs has carried 27 times for 113 yards. Off the delay, Craver stopped by Scott Radisic.
Well, this is the Miami Dolphin version of the Redskin counter trey. They blocked this guy and used this guy as the lead blocker. Page through there. Counter step through the hole. This is Washington's counter trey play. Miami variation of it. Page a little niftier than the offensive tackle would be pulling. Of course, it doesn't do much good there where there's that many guys in the hole. It's tough to get through.
It's a 3rd and 6 down at the 17. Now Tony Martin is split wide to the left. Mark Clayton in motion. And Dan Marino's pass is complete for a first down. So Clayton with his first catch of the day, and it goes for 9.
Colts in a zone there, 3rd and 7. Miami on the stop route. It's like picking chickens for Marino. He gets in between the zone. No pass rush there, and he just fires it in. Now, again, the Colts still aren't in bad shape. This is very disadvantageous field position for the Dolphins. First on the 9. They know they got to get it in. The Colts can make a play on first down here. The field's starting to shorten.
Picking chickens for Marino. Is that a Jersey phrase?
Well, I don't know what it is.
First and goal at the 9. Off the roll. Marino lofting to the end zone. And it is incomplete.
Going for the touchdown on the first play. Bootleg action. Good choice by Marino. Again, start them one way, cross the backs down in the red zone, bootleg. This is what the Dolphin offense has always liked to do in these situations.
That pass intended for Mark Duper. It will be a 2nd and goal at the 9 with 6 minutes, 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and Miami leading Indianapolis by the score of 10-6. Both these clubs looking for their first victory of the season.
Possible draw situation here again, Marv. Has been on second down.
Now instead he goes to the pass with the time. Now facing pressure, fires, incomplete. He threw a bullet, and Duper could not hang on. He was covered by Daniel.
Well, what makes it additionally doubly tough is Duper's running one way and Marino's running the other way when he throws the ball. It's hard to get that ball meshed exactly at the right point. You see Marino out to the left. He's going one way. Duper's going the other way. It's like bisecting that angle. I think I would have expected my receiver to catch it, though.
It's a third and goal at the 9. And Duper splits out to the left side. Jim Jensen is back in. And a timeout taken by the Dolphins. 5:54 left in the fourth quarter.
We built this business. He was wearing those night vision goggles they make. Otherwise, he never could have seen me. Rescued me.
Build this business. They taught me computer drafting. I earned a degree. Now I've got a job.
They make the parts that connect my pacemaker. Never thought I'd be around to tell you that.
We built this business to build your dreams.
Reintroducing a glorious name for a glorious new automobile. The 1992 Buick Roadmaster. With its powerful V8 performance and the security of its driver's airbag, anti-lock brakes, and full perimeter frame, Roadmaster is perhaps the best value in an American luxury sedan. Roadmaster also delivers something only a Buick can deliver. Buick quality.
We invested $100 million in the latest diagnostic equipment. And another $5 million a year training our expert technicians to use it. We are Goodyear certified auto service retailers, and we believe everything we do, from tires to tune-ups, should live up to the most exacting standards of all. Yours and ours. Good tires, good service, good people. Goodyear.
1 year ago, a wing and a prayer helped Notre Dame capture a dramatic come-from-behind victory.
Caught by Adrian Gerald on a deflection. What a play!
In 2 weeks, these teams meet again as the Michigan State Spartans invade South Bend to battle the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame football is home on NBC.
The Dolphins following up that long drive sustained by the Colts with one of their own 15 plays, 56 yards. They've had it for over 8 minutes. It's a third and goal from the 9. It's Miami 10, Indianapolis 6 with 5:54 left in the fourth quarter.
This will be the Dolphins' best pass on third down in the game. The one they think they can score with.
Here it is, Marino for the touchdown, Jim Jensen. That certainly was their best possible pass. It goes for 6. Jim Crash Jensen in his 11th season out of Boston University, extending the lead. And Charlie Bauman will attempt the extra point. First-year player from West Virginia, the holder, Scott Mitchell. And Miami now leads by the score of 17-6. All right, here's another look.
You see Jensen working one-on-one there. Just single coverage, just what Jensen wants. Here's Jensen working on the safety here. Down the field, little wiggle, back to the outside. outside, these guys out of the way. Don't know what that guy's doing. He should be a little help at this position on the field. Marino gets him the ball. Defensive back just back too far in the end zone.
And for Dan Marino, career touchdown pass number 245. He is now number 5 all time. He just passed by John Hadel. Fran Tarkenton is first with 342. There it is, followed by Johnny Unitas, Sonny Jurgensen, Dan Fouts, and then Dan Marino. Very impressive lineup. Number 245, Marino to Jensen for a 17-6 Dolphin lead. 5:49 remaining in this fourth quarter. Clarence Verdun ripped off a good return in his last effort. This time held in check. So the Colts back to the offense. E.J. Jr. made the stop. Let's check out the Fram 10-minute ticker. Buffalo in that wild one with Pittsburgh now in the fourth quarter. The Rams in front of the Giants, 16-6 in the fourth at Giant Stadium. Phoenix maintaining the lead over Philadelphia. Chicago in front of Tampa Bay. New Orleans with the lead. Minnesota hanging on against Atlanta. Now Cleveland 20-0 against New England. And Detroit with a 2014 lead on Green Bay. All in the fourth quarter. We have 5.5 minutes to go in the fourth here at Joe Robbie Stadium. And the Colts first down from their 28-yard line. George completes to Hester across the 35-yard line. Lewis Oliver on the stop.
Colts on their 2-minute offense, or should be. Yeah, they're going to huddle. Little turn into Jesse Hester there. Time's a factor, Marv. 5:07. They got to get moving.
Second down and 2 at the 36. Off the draw. It is Dickerson. He broke a tackle, and he's able to reach out for the first down. Michael Magruder made the stop, along with John Offerdahl. Eric Dickerson now 60 yards on 19 carries. It has not been an impressive day. You see, Indianapolis with 1 timeout left. Miami has 2 remaining.
But Indianapolis is just a little bit too casual now in my mind, Marv. They need to be, there's a sense of urgency here. 4:31 to go. They need to get in out of the, they need 2 scores to win.
George again goes short range, and Dickerson could not hold on. He was covered by Reichenbach.
Well, at least they got a chance to get the clock stopped now and get organized. Try to get the ball down the field here. They're going to lose the game if they keep dumping it to the backs in this situation. Now, you want to dump it to your back, maybe you could come up with a screen. There's a chance to get it to Dickerson and let him run with it in this situation.
Second and 10 from the 40-yard line. Indianapolis Colts looking at a record of 0-2 with the Raiders coming up in L.A. next week, and then back home for Detroit on the 22nd of September. Again, short range, and Dickerson is stopped by Offerdahl.
Little inexperience here on George's part now. Needs to get downfield with the ball, throwing the ball right on the line of scrimmage. Now he's got a 3rd and 10, in which case he's going to have to go down the field or punt the ball, and with 4 minutes to go, I don't know whether they'll do that. Miami's just in a soft zone. They have a chance to get it in there somewhere.
Now Verdun comes to the left. Brooks to the right. Hester in the slot. And George almost picked off. Offerdahl had a crack at it. The pass intended for Brooks. And a flag has been thrown. To look at the penalty as Jeff Cross makes his move toward the quarterback, Jeff George.
Number 88 of the offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
And it's called on number 88, the rookie tight end, Kerry Cash, a 5th-round draft pick out of Texas.
That's not a bad penalty. He's saving a big hit on the quarterback. I think I wouldn't have been too upset, but 4th down, and here's the game right here.
A 4th and 10 at the 40. Colts trailing Miami 17-6. George airs it out, and it's broken off, intended for Bill Brooks. Jarvis Williams got a piece of it.
Brooks on the in cut. Good throw by George, but the defense has a big advantage right here. They know where he's got to go with the ball. Tries to get it in the hole. Williams breaks it up.
Timeout has been called. We'll be back in a moment.
Know you're sitting here singing the blues. So be my guest, you got nothing to lose. Don't you let me think you wanna see it cruise. I say, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby. Don't you know the cool body is right there now. Getting to know you.
Getting to know all about you.
Not long ago, Honda and Toyota were known for the highest mileage. But today, there's Geo, the most fuel-efficient line of cars and trucks in America. Get to know Geo at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Getting to know
Oil. It's the lifeblood of your engine. That makes your oil filter your engine's most vital organ. That's why Fram keeps going the extra mile to make the best protection even better. Introducing the new Fram Extra Guard. New glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter for the best protection ever. The new Fram Extra Guard. American or import, it's an extra lease on life.
Robert Marshall was the head of the all-American family until he was accused of killing his wife. Based on a true story, Blind Faith, NBC Tonight.
Coming up in the second half of our doubleheader, it'll be the San Diego Chargers and the San Francisco 49ers from Candlestick in San Francisco. That is next. 3:26 remaining in the 4th quarter. The Dolphins taking over. They lead the Colts by the score of 17-6. The rookie Aaron Craver now in the backfield with Tony Page, and Craver gets the call once again. Scott Radisick on the tackle.
Dolphins just going to take it down as far as they can. Certainly, you know, with the Colts not having all their timeouts, they used them down there on the goal line. They're certainly going to be able to take it well under the 2-minute warning.
Well, Ron Meyer, in his 5th full season as head coach of the Colts, he has been a specialist in reclamation projects, turning it around at Nevada, Las Vegas, SMU, the New England Patriots, until things went the other way on him with the Patriots. The Colts were 0-13 when he took over. In '87, they won the AFC East, but last year's 7-9 could lead to additional pressure. Craver, ball carrier. If things don't go well this season, and those of you with us on NFL Live heard the Will McDonough report that the president of the Indianapolis Colts, Bob Irsay, reportedly wanted to fire Meyer last week following the loss to the Patriots.
Well, in my mind, Marv, it's way too premature in the season to be talking about that. You know, they've had some changes in their system. They've had new players coming in. You got to give the guy a chance to get going. And the season's a long way from being over.
The Colts' response to that statement by Will McDonough is that they do not reply to what they labeled erroneous information. 2:09 remaining in this 4th quarter. When we pick it up, it's a 3rd down and 7 from the 36-yard line. and a timeout has been taken. Right here, let's take a look at today's Canon camcorder replay of the game. And the big play of the game just moments ago, Dan Marino connecting for the touchdown with Jim Jensen.
There's Jensen working one-on-one on the safety down here, a little wiggle to the outside. This is the guy that's got to give him a little help. It's all one-on-ones right here. The safety's got to help him. He's lost in space there, backed a little too far into the end zone. The rule is never retreat any further than 2 yards into the end zone.
The end result, the touchdown by Jensen and a 17-6 Miami lead. Here's the 3rd down and 7. And Craver shoved out of bounds. Keith Taylor with the move on Aaron Craver. It is right up the marker, and the indication is a first down for Miami.
Well, I'm sure Coach Shula would have liked Craver to stay in bounds on this play. Had he not gotten the first down, I'm sure there might have been some discussion on the sideline, but he dove and looks like he hasn't.
Strong ground attack by Miami. In all, 34 carries, 134 yards. Once again, led by Mark Higgs, who accounted for 113 yards as a follow-up to the 146-yard day he had last week against Miami. It's Craver once again. So Aaron Craver getting a workout here in the 4th quarter, stopped by Dwayne Bickett. We've hit just under 2 minutes to go in the 4th. We'll be back after this.
Bulletin from Chevy Truck. Now get $1,000 cash back on every new 1991 Chevy full-size. The best cash back offer on America's best-selling pickup. Now through September 25th, $1,000 on every new 1991 Chevy full-size pickup. Every half-ton, three-quarter ton, 1 ton. Every 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. All with $1,000 cash back. You must take retail delivery from dealer stock by September 25th. See your Chevy dealer for details and get $1,000 cash back now.
The temperature never drops below Xerex. That's important to remember at a time like this, when it's very dark and very cold. Ah, you did remember Xerex Antifreeze. The temperature never drops below Xerex.
I'd like to be under the sea.
A child can drown in just 2 inches of water. Make the water safe for your child with the Red Cross Water Safety Program.
The 49ers. The Chargers. A Wild West showdown. Next.
Well, this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Miami Dolphins and the NFL is prohibited, and this game is the property of the National Football League. All rights reserved. Number 61 is Gene Williams, a 5th-round draft pick, rookie from Iowa State. Played briefly earlier. Miami Dolphins very high on this young man who goes 6'2", 308 pounds.
Well, they call him the Big Cat, and of course they had a lot of luck at Iowa State with Keith Sims 2 years ago, and they went back and maybe they got his cousin last year to bring him right down here, play him at guard for the Dolphins, and maybe Iowa State's the guard producing school for the Dolphins, much like Penn State was the linebacker producing school for some teams.
It is a 2nd and 7 from the 26-yard line. Again, Craver stopped by Frank Giannetti. Speaking about Penn State, one-time linebacker with the Nittany Lions, now playing the nose tackle position. Another run around the scoreboard. Buffalo in front of Pittsburgh. Rams extend to a 19-6 lead on the Giants, who are facing a record of 1 up and 1 down. Chicago leads Tampa Bay 21-13. New Orleans over Kansas City 17-10. Cleveland with the 20-0 lead, and Detroit in front of your upset special, the Green Bay Packers, in the 4th quarter. It's a 3rd down and 5 from the 24. Again, Craver. As the Dolphins just run it down, we're approaching 1 minute remaining. Harad and Radisuk combined to make the stop. Now, Bill, this is a microphone.
Thank you.
Point that out. This is an extra. They call this a spare headset in case something. We're just continuing our clinical study of the equipment here in the broadcast booth. Spotting board, Bill.
Thank you.
See the pins?
These are the tools.
These are the tools of the trade.
The tools of the trade.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. And we thank our rookie producer, Terry O'Neill, in handling the proceedings in a consultancy role with
what you're
Director
telling
Andy
me is
Roosevelt.
I traded my whistle in for all this junk?
Yes, you did. This junk.
I see.
Yes.
Can you read what's written on there, Mark?
The crib sheet, so to speak. And now the Dolphins have called for a timeout with mysterious timeout with 23 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Dolphins with a 17-6 lead, about to extend the record to 1 up and 1 down, while Indianapolis will go 0-2. Second half of our doubleheader will feature the Chargers and the 49ers from San Francisco. So Steve Young going up against John Freeze. Young replacing the injured Joe Montana.
Well, of course, a big test for both teams. 0-1, you don't want to go down 0-2, as we said at the top of the show. But
and look at the NBC lineup. World Premiere Cartoon Spectacular, followed by Unsolved Mysteries, and then Blind Faith. NBC programming following the Chargers and the 49ers. 23 seconds to go. And once again, it is Craver running well for the first down. Aaron Craver, rookie out of Fresno State, stopped by the combination of Harrod and Good, and that will wrap it.
Well, Coach Meyer's got to be a little discouraged going to the Raiders next week. 0-2. He's got to be disappointed. Coach Shula, on the other hand, got his guys back. The Dolphins played well in the second half. They have to feel pretty good going to Detroit.
And the Dolphins play 5 games before they meet another team that was over 500 last year. That'll be Kansas City in mid-October. Next week at Detroit, then home for Green Bay. A 17-6 victory for the Miami Dolphins. The big play, the touchdown pass, 9 yards from Marino to Jensen. Miami evens its record.